So, real quick, we asked this for all of our guests, kind of just as an intro. We just want to know, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you today?
Children with special needs.
What kind of special needs in terms of what aspect?
All ends of the spectrum: autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, you name it. All sorts of developmental disabilities. So I'm like adjusting my mic a little bit.
Did you actually have to you had to get a degree for that as well?
No, I actually what is it? So straight out of high school, I went straight into retail and I despised it. I hated it. So I was like, nope, this is not for me. And so I randomly was just job hunting online and I happened to come across my company's like website. And I read the description. I'm like, okay, what is this? I don't know. But I applied for it anyways. Having just a bare minimal idea of like being a therapist, for kids with special needs. And 2 weeks later, I got the call. They reached out to me and they're like, yo, we want to, get to know you a little bit more. They brought me in, they hired me. Little did I know I'd end up being in the field for 5.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it ended up just being my biggest passion in life. And I didn't have any type of educational background prior to this, because I did take a break from, college for a while. I started like my freshman year. Things at home were a little rough, so I just kind of focused on working full time. And took a break from school. And then even when I was going to school, though, I didn't really know what I wanted to go to school for. So I think that kind of, having that break allowed me to kind of really just put into perspective, okay, what is it that I'm passionate about? And it happened to be this field of work. And so I kind of developed a motivation to go back to school, and I was like, you know what, let's pursue special ed. So now I actually just started my classes this 2 weeks ago, for my special ed in interdisciplinary studies bachelor's program. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Wow.
That's pretty incredible.
That's super awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm stoked. I'm grateful. So
That's super exciting. I can connect with that because I just decided to go back as well. So
oh, nice.
that aspect. I talk about being nervous though. I bet getting into that field had to make you nerve wracking.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was excited. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just take it little at a time. Baby steps. So that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying every aspect of it. And this is the first time I'm actually enjoying school. I hated school. I
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
hated school
for sure.
for so long. And especially with my childhood, I moved a lot. So from like kindergarten to 12th grade, I was in 8 different schools. So I hated school.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like there was one I went to like 3 different high schools. I was transferring every year. Like so
Yeah, that had to be pretty lame.
I grew up in my own
Yeah.
little bubble. So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it. That's why I kind of fell off, especially in college. I didn't really understand the value of it. But I was like, this is something I want for myself. I want to graduate. I want a degree. I want to go to college. My family never did, and I've been blessed with the opportunity to be able to do so. So I was like, let's just fucking do it. Like,
Yeah.
just full ride. Let's just dive right into it. Just do it.
That's crazy.
I feel
So you said you moved obviously a lot. Like, was that within California or was that like states, like across states?
So yeah, I moved a lot within states and out of state. So I was born in LA.
Okay.
Um and then my parents actually split when I was like 4 or 5. And so dad and I moved up to Seattle, Washington, and I lived there for about 10 years with my aunt, my uncle, my cousin. And then my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, because my uncle works for the Navy, so he actually got stationed in Japan. And as my parents were kind of settling, their separation, I ended up moving to Japan with my aunt, my uncle, and cousin. And I
Wow.
lived on the base for them for a little bit, for a few months. And then dad came back and brought me back to Washington. Lived there till I was maybe 15 or so. And then things happened and I actually kind of dropped my life. I literally was thinking about this the other day. I was like, holy crap, I literally left my life behind. And I moved back to California because I would come to California because I have all my family here. My mom's here, my dad's side of the family's here, like all my family's here. Um, and it was only me and dad in Washington. And I'd come down to California every summer and every other winter. And in 2010, that summer, I was coming back for vacation, but things were happening at home, and because my dad remarried and stuff like that, and there were just problems that arose, and at the age of 15, I was like, you know what? I'm going to California and I'm never going back to Washington. So
Wow.
I sort of just, yeah, impulsively left my life behind.
That's I feel you. Honestly, if I honestly think if I was in a position, if I could have made that decision, I would have did the same thing. I would have just pieced out to fucking anywhere. So I feel you being on off impulse, just up and leaving, to be honest. And honestly, it's again, it's not really impulse since you had a lot of family in California, you know what I mean? Since
Sure.
there was comfort there, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not like it was like, California with no family,
Right, right.
where you're just there and regardless of if they helped you, you know what I mean? At least you have family to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Support you at least, you
absolutely.
know?
And that was one of the biggest reasons why I was just so okay with being that. I think I was, first of all, I was young and dumb. I was so naive. Like I was 15, like I was just young. And yeah, that was another big thing. Is like I had mom here. I lived 10 years of my life without mom in the picture. And for so long, even in Washington, I was always telling friends like, "Oh, I'm going to move back to California. Like all my cousins are there, all my family's there." And I have a huge family. So
Right.
um, like, that's kinda just a Filipino thing. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is, but
that's exactly where I was going
yeah.
with that. I was gonna say the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So, like, my dad's a family of 11, and my mom's a family of, like, 6? 5? 5 or 6, so I have so much family, and I just felt like being in Washington, I missed out on that family time, I'm like, these are years I'm never gonna get back. So I'm like, "It's now or never." So, whoop, decided just not to go back.
I mean, to be honest, how hard of a decision was it when you're leaving winter for California? Like, let's be honest. Washington,
Yeah.
wait. Hold up. Are we talking about Washington as in like on the East Coast? Or are we talking about the state of Washington?
State of
So yeah,
Washington,
state.
so
Oh,
rainy
well, then you're just
state.
leaving a lot of rain then, never mind. That just downpours. I would leave as
Oh
fast
my
as
gosh.
possible too. It's nothing but downpours and just tears there. Yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
was yeah, I mean, it was nice because we experienced like, all 4 seasons, but so much rain. I love the snow, but I think the rain was too much. Like, it was bad.
I don't know if anybody lived in Minnesota, they would never say they love the snow. It is so overkill here that it is like
Yeah.
to the point where it's just like, this is what we're living in for 10 months. This is
Yeah,
cool. Like, I feel like this is a whole nother topic, but if anybody deserves good weather, I need it right now
that's
because,
so
You
fun.
just
Does
gotta
it
come
snows
out
a
here,
lot there?
dude.
bruh, I
That's cr
swear.
Do you
With
snowboard or ski?
shit, no. It
Why
is, you know how
not?
little
You should
people
totally go
snowboard and ski? Like,
close.
it's such a small percentage of people. That's what's even sadder is like I could literally snowboard and ski across like across the street for like
That's
10 months out of the
that's
year.
so funny because it snowed so much in Washington, and I kinda grew up skiing and snowboarding. So I started skiing when I was 6, and my dad threw me I switched to snowboarding when I was 10, but then, my sister and I, when we'd have snow days, because our schools would get, like, closed down, right? Like, that was kind of the fun of it.
Yeah.
I remember my sister and I would do just stupid shit. Like, we put Ziploc bags on our feet and would just slide down the streets, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're like, "Let's just do something random in the snow."
Yeah.
But it
It'll
was
get pretty
fun, we were kids. It was part of our childhood.
yeah, it'll get pretty terrible though when the snow would just get like all dirty, mushy, black. Cause then
That's
there's
true,
like
like slushy, like black ice.
yeah, but it was pretty
Yeah,
terrible then. And I'll be
yeah.
honest, as I gotten older and I fell a couple times, my like connection with fun and snow has started to like deteriorate as it's starting to more I'm starting to equate it more with like snow to like injury or like bodily
Oh,
pain.
right, right.
And so I'm like, I don't really know, like every step I'm
That's
like,
so
oh God, and I'm
funny.
6'4", so the fall is a
Oh my
lot different.
gosh.
The fall is a
Oh my
Long
lot
gosh,
fall
different
there,
you're
than
so
bro.
a
tall.
normal height. So if I'm
You're
falling at
literally, like, over
6'4",
a
it's
foot
like
taller than me.
it's a tough fall. All
Holy
right, we're
cow.
hurting for a couple days. That's why.
That's true though. Like, I experienced, like, snow as a child, so, like, like, have to drive in it and live in it, like, as an adult, I could definitely see that
But think
there's
about it
probably
like
other challenges.
think about snow right now in your sock. Like it's not the same. Like it sounds horrible right now
That's
as an
so
adult.
true.
way
That's
more horrible
so
than it
true.
sounds
Like bigger
right
pet
now.
peeves.
As it right, like it sounds way worse. I don't know. That's just
What
no, yeah,
socks, what jeans. Yeah,
yep,
that's so
literally,
true.
yeah, it's the worst.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but yeah, so that's pretty. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of right now at the point where I'm changing kind of jobs, kind of looking for like more career options. So
Hmm.
I kind of take a little bit of motivation from the fact that you just, because right now, I mean, I have like 10 applications out and I'm just kind of like, YOLO. Let's see if I get this job. Let's see if they'll let me
Sure.
be this. Like,
Yeah.
and, obviously it's like some things that I think I can do, but at the same time, it's like, I have, there's a lot of anxiety and just like kind of head first diving in, these kinds of things because, you know, there's a lot of responsibility, especially now that we're adults, not having a job, like that period from not having a job to having a job, So like
Sure.
taking chances, sometimes, we don't always have the luxury of doing that as we get older, you know what I mean? So like we have
Right.
to be more precise with our decisions. So I've been having a little bit of anxiety with that, but that's like you're saying you're a little nervous before the podcast, but that right there seems like the ultimate anxiety just to like go into something like that head first. Like the fact that you were able to achieve like come over that, get over that is just pretty incredible to me. So I actually want to take that for motivation, regardless of whatever else happens in the podcast. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's funny though, because I'm actually like I am on the same boat as you, believe it or not. Yeah, like I've been with my company for 5.5 years, but I actually put in my 2 weeks last Tuesday. So my
Wow.
last day of work, yeah, my last day of work is this coming Tuesday. So it's I know exactly what you mean, having to like, you know, indulge in like a new chapter in your life, like, find a new career path. I'm actually in the midst of transitioning into a government job that I was able to land as a like an instructional aide in a school setting for special ed
Oh
classes.
wow.
That's cool.
But it's but yeah, but you know what? I went through the same exact type of anxiety. Like I don't know where I'm going to end up next. It's a whole new chapter in my life. Like I was thinking about it, I'm like I was in this field of work at my company for a fifth of my life. And that's all I knew for so long, And now it's like I'm literally like opening this brand new chapter in my life and I don't know what the fuck to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like at the same time, I'm a bit of an opportunist, I'm this is my chance to grow. So now this is my chance to gain new experiences. So I'm gonna like, I threw my application out in random places. If I land a job, I land a job. If I get rejected, that's okay.
I feel that.
Because and you know what? If I land this job and find out I don't like it, that's still okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people where I'd rather take an opportunity up and find out I don't like it than not try it at all and risk the opportunity of losing something out like I might love.
Yeah.
So like that I power to you, dude. Throw all your applications out there, like land all these interviews, make a bunch of mistakes, but learn from them,
Yeah.
and take joy in that. Take joy in these trials and like be excited for what results you're gonna have in the future. Like
Do you know what I think is, what I get a good laugh out of with me and my girlfriend Kimberly a lot sometimes? And it might be kind of a weird thing, but I kind of wanted to bring it up since we're talking about like changing jobs and stuff. Like like stuffing your resume, overstuffing it with just like shit that just obviously
Yeah.
like it's just overkill at this point, but we're just trying to stack shit so in our favor. Like we're just putting everything in there. And I was talking to her about this. I mean, we're throwing this shit from high school. That
That's
time, that
so
one semester
funny.
I got that A, that shows that I got some good. You know what I mean? Even then,
Yeah.
that was and I thought that was pretty funny a little
Oh,
bit.
dude, I
I'm
totally
gonna
spiked my
wear that.
resume. Like,
No,
I
that's
thought
that's
everyone
what it's
did.
spike. That's what I'm saying, and I just think it's
Yeah, right.
hilarious. 'Cause I
Absolutely. I feel like sometimes you kind of just have to, though.
Right? No,
Like,
yeah, I feel that.
like throw
But
them this
Yeah.
like irrelevant random fact. I mean, it's true, but it's like it's so random. Like,
literally,
but whatever.
yeah. But
That's
yeah,
And
so
no,
yeah,
so
funny.
anything to beef up the resume, really. Gas yourself
Right?
up a little bit. But
so
Yeah.
yeah,
go
wait.
ahead, brother.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I mean, like, just one last thing about the whole career thing. It's like
Right.
it's crazy just because if you think about it in the long run, we're still also young, and I just know so many people like right now that are either not sure of what they're gonna do, or even somebody like my mom who's at the current moment considering completely like changing fields, from
Wow.
like I guess you could call it like biology, science stuff, to maybe computer science, to who knows what. So I mean, like you said, it's like, at least you can have that opportunity to try it out and find out whether or not you like it or hate it or whatever. And
Mhm.
obviously with the last job that you had, it sounds like you loved, you know, you loved it, and it was a major passion of yours. So I mean, that's the thing though, is give it a shot. We're still so, like, for us, we're still so young. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
it's crazy.
Absolutely,
Right,
like,
we're gonna smash
because
things.
yeah,
We're
and if
gonna
anything,
mess
we should
things
take
up. We're
advantage of
gonna.
that. Yeah, like, you're right, because we're so young, we have the leisure of being able to try out new things and, like, experience new things and make mistakes and, find out things. Siri's responding to me, sorry, I don't
Hey
know why, but
Siri,
Mm.
um,
are
They're
but,
you
like,
listening.
serious? Just kidding.
but yeah, no, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, now's the time. And you know what? Who cares
Yeah,
what age you are?
exactly.
Like,
That's
who
yeah, that's the thing. Who
cares? Like,
cares? Exactly.
it,
At
find what
least
you love.
find
Find what
exactly.
you do. Yeah. Who cares how long it takes? Like, as long as you're happy,
Yeah,
you
I
Yeah,
agree.
know?
Gary Vee kind of opened my mind a lot to that. It doesn't matter about your age thing.
Oh yeah,
He
Age
was
is
telling
just
me
a
like
number.
you could be 80 and wake up with a brilliant business idea and become a millionaire. I was just like,
There
what
you
the? That is
go. And
kind
I
of
feel
true.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like because our age group, especially now, like, personally, I'm surrounded by a lot of, colleagues who are like, they have their master's degree already, or like they're, you know, graduated like 4 years ago or whatnot. I'm still like in my bubble where I'm like, I'm just getting started in college, but
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not
feeling that
about,
right now.
yeah, there's a lot of peer pressure, or peer pressure in a sense where it's like, I'm just, I feel like at the time I felt like I was like, I can't compare to these people. But that's when I was like, that's a bit of a perspective change for me. Like, I need to check my heart in that. Who cares? They're going through a completely different walk as I am.
yeah,
And they didn't go through anything I went through, and I didn't go through anything they went through. Who cares where we're at? It's not about comparing. It's about what I personally decide to pursue. It's about what we as individuals, decide to pursue at. And you know what? What if we're just supposed to be in this place as we speak? Like, we need to take it down, like tone it down a little bit, slow it down. Like, okay, like, we're alive, we're breathing. Like,
That's
be
something that I
grateful for the
actually
little
been.
things, like,
That's something that I've actually been challenging in myself is how easy it is to compare, and then how also like how natural it is as humans for us to compare, and then how
Mm,
natural it is for us to judge, like just how
yeah,
like how it happens even without it, both things. And that's such a weird, because right now I'm feeling it heavy in terms of my entire high school graduation class is graduating college this year, and
right.
here I am with like a semester under my belt, like, what's going on, guys? We're
I feel
chilling.
you. I feel
And
you.
like, to be honest with you, that is kind of one thing that kind of kick started me wanting to go back, because I'll be honest, I kind of took a look at what I had to show for the last 4 years. And regardless of how much money I've made in the last 4 years, it doesn't hold the same value as a degree. And I feel
Sure.
like that right there was enough to get me to re-enroll. I was like, what have I done? And so whether it just be, 2-year degree, for whatever, or it be ends up being a bachelor, I think
Mhm.
just to get in and start. Because I'm so much more mature now that I agree with you in the aspect that, because I hated school and I also played sports. So the only reason I was going to school was to play sports. So
Yeah,
like
and it's like you have to
literally,
keep your
and
grade up too.
I'll
Like,
be honest,
you
it
want to
was
stay
so
like,
bad.
yeah, no, I feel
And
you.
like I rode so hard on being the athlete, the
Mhm.
senior portfolio check, I had one paper in there and they passed me 100%. We literally talked about how I was in the magazine for like an article the entire time and they just passed
Dang.
me. I was like, shit, dude, this is great. Like
Dang.
that, that's a whole nother talking about, does he deserve it? You know what I mean? But who knows?
Yeah,
It's just crazy though, I definitely think now I'm just in a complete different spot, more mature, like an adult. I'd feel like I'd be able to handle school in just a different mindset. It would
sure.
be almost more exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like learn, like I want to learn. It's such a weird thing to say that, like, because I used to wake up every morning like, God damn, dude, if something doesn't give, man, 2 more years, this is it, dude. I literally, oh my gosh, I just gotta get to practice that theory. I had to practice that theory will be good. That's literally what it used to be. And now it's like
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited to get back into class and to get back into the process of like being nervous about my grades and all of that. I don't know, it's exciting. But yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of want to switch the topic a little bit to kind of get your insight into who are your biggest influences in terms of like business, personal life, and like those things like motivational speakers, stuff like that. Who do you look to for influence?
That's a great question. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, God comes first in my life. That's a bottom line. Like, God first for me. But then it's just, it's family, friends, my church community, my boyfriend, like just my close knit people in my life. I'm not a big like celebrity person. I truthfully haven't indulged in like a lot of like public speakers. I'm more of a reader. Like I I listen to a couple podcasts, but I don't really favor, I guess, like, I don't know, like bigger, like
Sure.
business people,
Yeah.
if
I
that
feel
Yeah.
makes
that.
sense.
No, I
Like
feel
if
that.
people were to ask me, like, "Oh, who's your favorite celebrity?" I'm like, I don't really have one. Like,
Do
Well,
you have a
that's cool
favorite
though.
author then, since you're a reader?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah, yeah, I'm kind of geeky in that sense. Like I was in like book club in elementary school. Like it was so
Nah,
nerdy.
go ahead.
Bookworm.
Hit us with
I'm just
I
kidding.
know.
No, I'm messing.
three
It's
your
great.
favorite three authors then.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay, God. Well.
Okay.
um. That I don't know.
No.
I
What's
just
yeah.
like I just started indulging in this book called You. Um, I went into the Barnes and Nobles like a couple days ago, like
Wait,
or
is
sometime
that
last week.
like about the Netflix series?
Yeah, it's so
Yo,
crazy. I don't know how
yeah,
have you seen it? It's
yeah.
nuts. Okay, so
Wow.
I watched. It's funny because I watched the series first, and like if you guys haven't watched it, go and watch it. Like
Sheesh.
it's
Pause
so
right
nuts.
now, man, because there might be some spoilers. That show
Yeah.
is crazy,
It
I have
was like
not
next
crazy,
seen it.
level
I've
crazy.
not seen
bro.
it. I didn't even actually I think I maybe have seen it
It
floating
opens
Yeah.
your
around.
mind to like what obsession can be and like what like manipulate like being manipulative, like how
Yeah.
many levels there are to it and how like it
Yeah.
is crazy, man, and how
Like, it's
somebody can
about
look so normal
yeah.
and like just so like I'm not I
He's
almost
like
said
another
me,
Ted
but like I
Bundy.
don't want to like
Like
say that I'm
Oh
like
no.
yeah, he's like
crazy, like
another
it's
Ted Bundy.
crazy,
Think of it
man.
that way.
It's
Like
crazy. It's not based on a true story or anything that I know of, right?
not
Do you know?
not that I'm aware of. I
That would
think it's
be
all fictional.
crazy.
Yeah,
Is
but
this the one? Okay, I think maybe my sister saw it. Is this the one about like the stalker or like super obsessed dude or something like
Yeah.
that? At a very high
yes.
level, because I don't know anything. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's based.
essentially it's based on a guy who um is a stalker, but he is a stalker that you would empathize with because he's such a kind-hearted dude and he's so genuine
So
to
okay,
crazy
the
when you
so
say
person
Ted
he
that.
falls
Bundy.
in love with. But like think of it this way, he falls in love with someone who doesn't even know him. And like he like devotes himself to this girl who literally doesn't even know exists in the beginning and
Yeah.
like he'll go that extra mile for her. But
6 miles.
that yeah,
Country
like the
miles. I
extent that
mean,
he goes is like
country.
levels that you would not expect him to go
Huh.
to. But it's dark in a sense where it's like he is like that typical like next door neighbor kind of guy where you would never think anything's wrong with him.
Yeah.
But psychologically, he's he's got some dark stuff going on in there.
Sure.
Like, but it's funny. It's a great film. I mean a great series, and I was like, I want to read the book. Come to find out, there's a second there's a sequel to it called Hidden Bodies. Like
Oh
What?
no.
I know, I'm like crap, and he comes to California. I'm like, oh my lord.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
no.
Yeah, and it's interesting having to read it because you see it on TV and you're like, oh, that's the character, but then you read it and you're like indulged in it as if you're in the film because you have to, when you're reading stories, you have to come up with these films in your head, and I think that's what makes it a little
For
bit more dark because now I'm like, do I have do we have stalkers? Like, is there
real.
someone in my
For
closet? Like, you know. Low-key get paranoid and
Yo.
I have to take a break from the book because I just get so psyched out.
I feel that.
But it's like that's when you know it's good literature, you know?
Yeah.
I feel
But
that.
So you
yeah.
said you're a reader and then you sometimes listen to podcasts. What are some of like your go-to podcasts?
One oh crap, I don't even know the name of it, but there's a podcast that I've just kind of been like listening to recently, and it's so different. I liked how different it is. It's some sort of like TED talk,
Oh,
like
okay. Gotcha.
it's one of their like branches, but it's a whole trivia like game sort of
Oh,
like
that's
podcast,
cool.
which
That's
is yeah,
fun.
which is new because a lot of podcasts we hear nowadays maybe about like just general topics like pop culture, things
Right.
like that. Which don't mind me, they're all great, they're all fantastic. But I think what intrigued me about this was like I could listen to this podcast when I'm driving to work or something, and what they have is, or like how they set it up is they have two guests on the show and they have a series of like trivia questions, and obviously the two contestants are competing, and it sometimes they have content based off of like general knowledge, or they have content based off of like the newest film that came out like Aladdin or something. And I just kind of, I think I enjoy it because I love trivia, and so sometimes I'm
Yeah.
kind of like trying to figure out the answer myself. But yeah, that's something I've been looking into. I just was looking through podcasts, and I found inspiration for podcasts I've been wanting to do, because I've been wanting to, like, I want to get into podcasts with you guys. Actually, I have questions for you guys.
No, we'll
Because
Whoa,
take
we
all
should.
of them.
Whoa, I have a great idea. We'll
yeah,
like at the end just let you flip it and like
yeah, I
totally
have questions for you
take
guys because
lead.
you guys are like inspiring me. Just so you know.
That's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
but I
you.
ran into a podcast where a guy's like just reading a book, and I'm like, that sounds like something I could totally do and something I'd
for
love.
real.
So,
You did a stream
um,
though once, right? Where you were like it was like study with me or like you were reading or something
oh
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was recently because I was like, okay, I want to stick with my stream schedule, but at the same time, I have like a crap ton of homework. What do I do? And so I was like, whatever, for a couple hours, I'll just like hang out with everyone and like
Sure.
do homework at the same time.
Yeah.
And so,
Man, I would have people
um,
do my homework.
yeah,
Like,
right. Like, what's
wow,
the answer
I
to
can't
question four?
believe I
Like,
didn't think about this. Honestly,
Dude, I feel
I'm
like
not lying.
that's so
there
Oh,
has to be
funny.
a category on Twitch where people are doing
I'm
this.
literally
Dude,
Us-
if
mind blown.
not,
Why
you
is no
gotta go
one
make
doing
one now.
this? Why is nobody doing this, bro? We have access to
Like,
so
who's
you know
in
what?
Bio 101? Like, hit me
Oh
up.
my god. I mean, we could just like, oh, that is a great idea.
Well,
Wow.
That's
I
so
mean,
funny.
that just reminds me a little bit of like when, when Mike, you were doing the episode about me, I mentioned that after school, when I was in high school, my friends and I would just hop on Xbox and get into a chat together and do homework that we had together because we were at the same school and then we played together after school. And so we were just sitting there like, hey, how
Y'all were
did you
cheating so
do?
y'all could get on quicker,
Hell
man. Let's
yeah,
not make it
bro.
Yeah.
sound
That's
good,
what I'm
bro.
saying.
You
Hey,
gotta answer the
man,
number
but
11, bro. I'll do number
yeah,
2,
man.
bro.
Yo,
Right?
Play with me, bro.
Yeah.
hey,
Hey, whatever works,
guilty as
right?
charged, but I just need to get back into some Halo. So we did
Dude,
homework
why didn't I
together.
think about that? That would help me so much in like high school.
Oh, that's what I'm
Shoot.
saying. I'm on Maple Story
That's
typing like,
next
yo, how
level,
did you do
man.
that question in pre-algebra, man? Boom.
That's so funny. That's genius.
But
There weren't a lot of,
I
I'll be
didn't think
honest, there
about
weren't a lot
that.
of gamers where I grew up. It's pretty,
really,
I hear about all these stories about people playing video games with people from their high school and shit. And honestly, literally all throughout high school, people didn't even know I streamed, or I don't even know how they knew that I played video games. Like, honest to God, but I was somehow the gamer. Like, people would make fun of me for like not
Oh,
going out because I
really?
would go. Like, they just like knew. I was just like, how is this just known? Do I just look like a guy who just games? Like, I don't get this. Like, what the hell is going on
They're
here?
stalking you.
yeah. Wait, so but
Literally.
you were a
That's
sports
so funny.
guy and
That's what I'm
gamer,
saying.
so it's
That's what I
like,
don't
how does
understand is
it?
I
I
try
don't
so
know,
hard to
man.
kill all these stigmas to be like
Dude,
this, you know what I mean? And then next I'm just a gamer, like, you know, I don't give a fuck, man. I'm
that's
everything.
so
Call
That's
me
funny.
funny.
everything.
Yeah,
That's
I was the
crazy.
But
polar opposite. Like I grew up gaming, but no one had any clue. Like
same.
even friends till
Oh,
like when I hit high school, like even friends that I'd known for years, like until I started streaming, they had no idea I was a gamer. Like,
wow.
yeah.
Well,
But it
that
wasn't
yeah,
like I wanted to hide it. It was more of just like I guess I related differently with these kinds of people that were in my life, and like
okay,
gaming didn't have to be one of their passions. So it was never really a topic that I would bring
yeah,
up. Like I
yeah.
wouldn't be like, "Oh, have you tried this new game that just came out?" Like
I
they'd be
feel
like, "What?"
that. Feels
You
bad.
know?
Guys are so apish, bro. Oh my. She just basically said, bro, she has intellectual dialect with individuals while men are over here just, hey, dude, you see that game that came out,
That's
man? We're over here dude, man, what about League, man? We're just
What?
over here with the most
Where
That's
did
basic
that
so
even come
funny.
conversations, man.
from,
Oh my
I
dude?
don't
god, that's
know,
so
man.
funny.
I
No,
just
but
thought it
Oh
was
my
I
hilarious.
god.
mean,
I know you're
honestly, like
just
there were
trolling, but I know I was just joking. I'm just joking, but I thought
no,
that was
but I mean,
hilarious.
obviously there were some people I could talk to about games. Like Elliot, obviously, like a couple of my guy friends, but like when I come to my girlfriends, like they're not gonna talk about gaming. But I
That's
just found
true.
out one of my girlfriends does play League, and I was like, what the fuck?
That's
Like
crazy.
all this time I didn't know.
Well,
But
that's
yeah, I mean, I
crazy.
get it. Conversations are limited, but it wasn't whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
that kind
then,
of definitely segues into like this gaming realm of questions that we have for you, for
Sure.
sure. Well, the first one obviously is just like you said that you grew up playing games. Like, what's the earliest memory that you have of playing video games?
I loved this question because it just stems back from me and dad. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like after, dad mom and dad separated, that was just one of my ways of bonding with dad. It's funny because like at the time being when I was a kid, I didn't realize how much of a gamer dad actually was.
No, that's so sick
It's
though. That's
it's
so
so
cool.
funny, like, it didn't occur to me, but, like, I mean, all I knew was that we're playing Tekken together, we're playing Frogger, we're playing Crash
Yeah,
Bandicoot, the
they're
PlayStation 1.
playing Tekken together,
Dude,
yo. It's
yeah.
Tiger
Which, by the
throwing
way,
all
I
day
still
long.
have, yeah, and but, that was just my way of bonding with dad. We or, like, one of them. I mean, he was in, like, he threw me in, like, every sport, which I loved. So, I
that's
grew up
pretty
playing
awesome.
sports
That's
too.
super cool.
Um, yeah, and, so it was me and dad, we like would play video games, and then when I lived with my cousin, my aunt, my uncle, in Washington in Japan, my older cousin would play, and he had like Nintendo 64, and like we were just, playing random games, and so we'd play games with him. And then when I was in Washington with just dad, and I had a series of like babysitters when he'd go to work or something, and I needed someone to watch over me before and after school, like one of my babysitters I stuck with for a while had a son who also was into gaming, and we play on his GameCube. And then dad remarried, and I gained a little sister, and she and I would play on the PlayStation, play like Kingdom Hearts or like
That's
That's
awesome.
Rayman, and
so cool.
Nintendogs was our shit, like Cooking Mama, like
Cooking Mama, we still
Okay.
play
Cooking
that at my
Mama,
house.
like
Oh my god.
we played like DDR, dude.
Yo, that game, yo, there's
um
some, let's be honest. You want to talk about when you know there's another level, when the person holds his hands like this to
on
hold
that
the
back
On
bar,
the
bar.
on the bar at the arcade,
get the
bro.
fuck away
Yeah.
for an hour.
Right? Like,
This
shit's
He's
machine
gonna
not
is
go
getting
down.
done.
yeah.
Go have a fucking beer or something. Like
Right?
this
That's
guy is
so
literally,
funny.
and you're gonna come back. And one thing that always surprised me too is you would come back, not a drip of sweat. These guys aren't sweating
Yeah.
at all, dude.
Like, or
I'm
there's
telling
those
you,
people that bring the towels knowing they're gonna drip.
I
Like,
play one round, and I'm like, I'm literally dripping. My girlfriend's like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know, man. This is hard. And this dude gets on, he's going at it on
that's
expert.
so
On
Just
expert
funny.
runs the whole song list is like
Those
cold,
people
bro.
that would like they'd solo game it, but they'd go across both
yeah, yeah,
paths. Like, I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, the
what?
duo pads.
You know what's so funny too is they know what I thought was another thing that's funny about that is they know how loud they're being. Like seriously,
Yeah.
think about how loud it is to dude. Everybody knows when
And
there's
they're
a beef
thriving. They
ass
love that they get
DVR.
an audience because they're so good. They know they get an audience.
It is
Next thing you know,
honestly
they're putting their next quarter up on that
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah, yeah.
screen.
literally
My
people are
turn
choosing
next.
songs for them. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. No, that's pretty awesome.
That's
So
so funny.
do you think that you find gaming as well now that you stream? I always like to ask this to like you guys who stream more frequently because
Sure.
I think that that changes what this question like potentially like what the answer could be.
Mhm.
So what the question is do you find gaming as a hobby? Is it an outlet from the real world for you, social gathering, a competitive outlet a little bit?
Mhm.
And then also if you could talk a little bit about what brings you back to gaming each day. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think personally it's still just a hobby for me. Um I think, and the reason being is because right now in my life I just have so many other higher priorities that I don't really have the luxury of indulging in the gaming community as much as I'd love to. It is just something when I have time I hit play a game. I
I
hit
feel
up a
that.
league or something. I wod love to be able to, be a little bit more consistent with my streaming. I think because of streaming, I have, played more than I used to. But it's still just right now currently just a hobby. But that's okay with me, because I love that I still have it as a hobby on the side. It's another fun thing for me to do. It's another activity to, keep me busy, keep me out of trouble. Like,
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I love what I do. So
that's one thing that honestly I have to be really honest that kind of because I like to stream, but that's one thing that kind of keeps me from like just head first in it is the fact that because the outside world can get so crazy and we're so busy and stuff
Right.
that gaming is like I have it held that like it's supposed to be an escape for me. And when
Mhm.
that escape then turns into like something that I'm building, you know what I mean? For
Mhm.
like, because you know what I mean? Everybody knows what they're doing on Twitch, regardless of, you know what I mean? We know what we hit the stream button for. So,
Right.
like, you're building something, and that completely changes it, and that's why like, I think this question can be really deep sometimes because I think that streaming and I think that just really changes the answer, and I think that that's awesome to hear you say that, and I think that uh, it's awesome to also hear you say that you're okay with that as well, because I think that that's something that maybe a lot of streamers don't get to cherish anymore is
Yeah.
the fact that gaming is a hobby, because that's a complete different feeling than when you have to game. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It's a
Right, right.
complete different feeling.
Yeah, I know, I completely understand where you're coming from, and personally, I have other outlets. If I do, I first of all, I guess I'm very slow to anger. I'm very slow to like, you know, um, be stressed, and so, but when I am, I do have other outlets that I've always kind of resorted to. Personally, it's like journaling and reading and doodling or something. So gaming, I guess, wasn't necessarily my first go-to outlet. However, I think that's kind of why it's been still just like maintain its position as a hobby for me. It's just something like oh, friends are over, let's freaking play Mario Party or something,
Sure.
and I think I've been grateful for that. I kind of just redirected myself to things that I think are more personally healthy for me, and for me personally, it's journaling. Um, where was I going with this? Like, sorry, I completely lost my
No,
train
it's
of thought.
okay.
No, it's
It's
fine.
honestly okay.
Shoot, what was I
Do
gonna
you want us?
say?
We can go ahead and jump to the next question if you
Sure,
want to
yeah, yeah,
touch
yeah. I
back on that.
totally lost my train of thought there.
So
Sorry.
that's okay. And then the second part of that question was what about gaming like brings you back? You know what I mean? What about it like
Like
gets
why
you to want
yeah.
to keep streaming even though you're a very busy person and you're pursuing, new adventures in life? What makes you want
Sure.
to still stream and you know what I mean? Still take these um because there are some obligations with
Right.
streaming, and we'll get into a little bit later how you've joined Vicious, and
Mhm.
there are some obligations with that as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you could just touch on what brings you back to it each day.
Sure. I think it's just I just genuinely enjoy it. Like, I think especially now that I've indulged in Twitch and like, it's so funny because so how this got started. Let's like we'll rewind a little bit. I was first introduced to Twitch in by Elliot, which is my boyfriend, and one of my close friends who's my mod, Solly. Um, I had no idea what it was. They were like, "You game? Why don't you try streaming?" And I'm like, "What the heck is that? Like, what's streaming? What's live streaming? What's Twitch?" And they kind of gave me the gist about it, and I was like, there's no way in hell I'm streaming ever. Like, I think the idea of like people watching me game live was a little intimidating to me,
Yeah.
especially being a girl. I was very hesitant about that, um, and
I
that
can
was it. I was like, I'm not
imagine.
doing it. Yeah, and so I was like, I'm not doing it. And then, for me personally, I'm very structured when it comes to like my work schedule, my school schedule. Like everything is written in like my 500 planners that I have. And one day, all of my work sessions got canceled. Like, for example, canceled because my kid was sick or they didn't have school or whatever. Um, and one day I had no work at all. And when all of my schedule is thrown out the window, I don't know what to do with myself. So I'm like, I'm lost. Like, what do I impulsively got on Twitch and I signed up. I didn't even bother looking at what the platform was. I didn't bother looking up streams. I didn't check the website out. I just signed up. And
Wow.
I had no
There's a
preparation,
theme here of just
like
head first deep.
impulsivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diving in head first. That's cool though.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, and so I know, and it was funny because like I said, I never I was so against it, and here we are, signed up, had nothing prepared. I didn't have any type of streaming equipment, didn't have a PC, didn't have a laptop, didn't have a computer. All I had was an Xbox that I was playing Overwatch on. didn't even have a camera for the Xbox. And then I told Elliot, I was like, so I kind of did a thing. So I kind of set up my Twitch account. And he's like, what? Like, and so I was like, if I'm gonna do this, let's just dive right into it. I was like, what do I do now? He's like, okay, well, we have to set you up. And I'm like, okay, what? A camera, I guess. So got a
Right.
camera, got a mic. And so we got one of those little Xbox, like, attachment cameras or like whatever, that were so hard to find because I don't think they make them anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was great. I started streaming off the Xbox. I mainly streamed like Overwatch, and it was headshot. And I don't mean like headshot. I mean like it was headshot. Like that camera had like a mind of its own, zooming in on like random times. It was great. Like, and so those were my roots, And then I found out I enjoyed it, and then I had my very first like community member who was consistent, and I'll never forget Jed. Like I was like, that's the dude that comes by every day. He's pretty cool. Like, and that was the start of, growing a community and getting to know more people. And then I opened up my Discord. And it just started progressively going and growing from there. And then I started realizing, I'm like, holy cow, I think I really enjoy this. um, and I enjoyed the aspect of not even just the gaming part of it, because let's face it, I'm terrible at League, guys. Like, I'm trash. Like,
We all
so
are.
bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say
We
same
all
thing.
are, honestly.
So bad.
We hate to
But
admit it, but we suck.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm terrible. So don't think you're gonna come and see me in like plat or anything. Not gonna happen. But but I think I enjoyed the personal connections I've been able to make through Twitch. For example, let's talk about how we met Torchy.
Yeah.
Funny story. So we somehow we got in connection. Oh yeah, I this is a really a really funny story to me. So Elliot and I went to LCS like last season, and we met up with one of my mods, Red, who knew Daddy Steve,
Yep.
who hosts, Daddy, what is it, Daddy Duos, where
Yeah,
he hosts those
yeah.
2v2 tournaments for League, and my boyfriend and my friend happened to sign up for it, and so did Buff Crew. So they ended up getting paired, and I'm laughing because I'm watching this game, and Torchy's playing Blitz, and out of a bush, he just flash hooks my boyfriend. And I'm like, yo, you're dead. And he just kills him right off the map. But what's
Yeah.
funny is that they had that particular game, they kind of had a few struggles with like setting the tournament up. Like, Torchy, you want to like add to that? Like,
Yeah. So
what happened? I
basically,
forgot.
yeah, during the 2v2, Steve had somebody collecting the pick and bans, and then
Oh, that's right. That's right.
what the problem was that we banned something, I think, and then we got in game and they ended up picking it. So we're like, well, that's not fair. We need to remake. And then Steve's like, okay, let's
Right.
remake. And then we send in the pick and bans again, and then we pick something that they banned. And so we're like, okay, we have to remake. And at that point, me and Frosty were just like, yo, just give him the game. We don't really want to do this right now. Like, it took us 30 minutes at that point to even not even play. Like, we were just remaking. Game 3, finally we get in or something like that. It took like 3 tries before we could actually play. And then yeah, it was Frosty on Blitz, me on Ash. I remember,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Frosty does his typical Frosty thing of just flash hooking on Blitz under turret, and like
But it worked.
it worked. And then I just remember when we went to Steve's SoCal meetup, that you tapped me on the shoulder or something, and you're like, "Hey, are you Buff Crew?" I go,
Yeah, I was like,
"Yeah."
that's the dude.
I was like, "Yeah, why?" And then you're like, "My boyfriend, that's Nim. You destroyed them in the 2v2." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, the game where we had to remake."
I was cracking up. I was like, that's the one. That's the dude. That's the team that
Are
destroyed
you
you.
Buff Crew? That's
Like,
hilarious.
She's like, Ty, hey, are you
yes.
Buff Crew? I'm like, I guess so. Technically, yeah, but yeah, basic.
Technically?
Well, I mean, like, I am
Yeah.
not the Buff Crew, but we are the Buff Crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we are. So it
From
was
what I
funny.
knew, you were Buff Crew.
Yeah. Because that was our team name on Steve's 2v2. So it was funny though. It was really cool, and I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, that's funny. So
Yeah, and so that's how Torchy and I actually got to meet in person.
yeah.
What do you
Small world.
So then what do you think has surprised you so far about Twitch?
Um,
Has anything?
Mm, Yeah, I think so. I put some thought into this one. I think looking past the surface level stuff, I what surprised me the most was that I was able to really connect with people still on in a way where able to connect with people in my real life situations. For example, I love working with people. I love working with kids who have special needs. I just love providing for people. I love serving people. I love helping people in a long-term situation. Um, and there's been times where, people in my community have been able to trust me and come to me with such personal struggles. Like they've personally messaged me asking me for advice or just seeking out like words of wisdom, and the fact that I was able to just be there for them was something I've been so grateful for. Like it was such a humbling experience. Like I don't know these people in person. They don't know me. They know you guys know like what 2% of who I really am based off of
Right.
everything I've revealed to you on
Yeah.
Twitch. But the fact that people were able to be transparent with me and vulnerable with me, really put me into perspective. And I don't take these people's lives for granted. I don't care how much for all I know you're lying, but regardless, I'm not going to take that chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you love and I'm going to show you compassion and I'm going to show you just a genuine friendship because and I'm just going to be me and I'm going to be real with you. Um and I think that's just been the most rewarding thing that I've personally experienced and that's been the highlight of my Twitch experience so far. I haven't been indulged in it for very long, but I love that I think in the very beginning, I told myself, I was like, Jeycie, if you're going to be a part of this community, if there's one thing you're not going to do, it's you're not going to lose your identity. You're not going to lose your identity in this community. Um, and I stuck to that. I'm going to bring to the table, what I can bring. And that's just loving on people and just, being genuine with them and, developing personal relationships. And I've been grateful to be able to do so. So yeah, that's been the highlight of it all.
That's a pretty you're such a positive person. I guess such a positive vibe off you. That's
Yeah.
such a positive
Thank
way to look
you.
at Twitch, because Twitch, I feel like especially for girls, Twitch can be a real rabbit hole sometimes, and I feel
Sure.
like it can be a real rabbit hole for uncalled for scrutiny or just negativity. And
Sure.
so I think that that's pretty awesome, honestly, which we can get into a little bit later. But I think that's pretty awesome that something like that has been able to survive, which it's very honestly, even I think that that's one thing that like old people don't can't grasp is that like
Mhm.
somebody just watching somebody could connect to them and like on such a personal level, like they don't, that's like the one thing you always hear about Twitch and YouTube is like, how could you watch somebody play games, go play it yourself? Well, like
Sure.
that's not the point. I can go play myself, but I'm boring. Like I'm trying to go watch this guy play and funny person or she's a funny person, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's pretty. That's just pretty. That's an awesome positive takeaway and
Thank
something that
you.
surprised you from Twitch. So that kind of branches into what the next question is um, what do you think about Twitch as a whole, like as a platform? And I think that this is a super interesting question because this would be the first time that we get an answer from a girl's perspective.
Hmm.
So what do you
Yeah.
think about like the culture around it? You know what I mean?
I think in retrospect, I personally view it the same way I view the rest of the world. Like there's there's good and bad. I mean there's positivity, there's amazing things that I've personally witnessed, but then there's also, derogatory behavior that I might not agree with, but what am I going to do about it, Like that doesn't mean I'm going to start judging people. That doesn't mean I'm going to start changing who I am. Um, I I guess I really haven't indulged in it to the point where I was able to dissect every aspect of it. So from what I do know and what I have personally experienced, I like the community.
Yeah.
Because people have, I've experienced more positivity out of Twitch than I have negativity.
Sure.
Um,
I hope that
and
forever.
Yeah.
I hope
yeah,
that forever.
Well,
yeah, and I think even go ahead.
no, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, I think that's the key thing here, though, is that we are on the smaller spectrum of streamers in terms of
Sure,
size and whatnot. So, like, it's
absolutely.
when we have the communities that we've built, it's a lot easier for us to have more of the positivity than the negativity. You know, if you
Right.
imagine yourself streaming to 50,000 people, I would say it might even be more than 50-50 at that point. You never really know.
Mhm.
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
And
I,
you know what's one
Right.
thing is text is so hard. That's the one thing that there's
yeah,
always a fault in is you can never know human intention off of text.
yeah,
Absolutely.
It
I
can
yeah,
never
completely
happen.
agree.
yeah,
Never happen. The
Right.
same exact 4 or 5 words can mean a completely different thing in a completely different situation. And that's why I was a little surprised when we were talking to Loft, I think, is who was the one that informed me that Twitch does have like ways to like stop, certain hate speech.
Mhm.
I would just imagine that that's why it's such a, like such a thin line to walk because intention, you never know. It's so hard. And since the majority of, I mean, 99.9% of Twitch interaction is text.
Yeah.
So like that's why, I think in the bigger streamers, when they're banning, they're just banning people. A lot of times, you sometimes you'll hear somebody got banned, but their intention wasn't even of that necessarily to get banned. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's
It's
where
yeah,
how
you
you
get because it's
perceive
just
it.
text. Yeah, and that's
Absolutely.
where.
Absolutely. Cuz yeah, and for I mean there's definitely been times people have, tried to put me down or whatever, but I guess I'm just not that type of person who deals with BS, first of all. But at the same time, I'm also gonna give people the benefit of the doubt. That's just who I am. You know,
Here's
if
one
you
thing I
wrong
want.
me, that's fine, whatever. I'm forgiving, but I'm also gonna lay it out to you, like, yo, like, please, there's, lines that can't be crossed. Let's please respect them. If they choose not to, then that's when I kind of, like, that's when I have to put my foot down and start filtering. Thank goodness I have not had to do that with a lot of people. But I'm not gonna lie, there's been circumstances, and that's okay because I have to do that in my real life situations too. Like I'm not gonna be
Mhm,
friends with every single person in this world. I
mhm.
face people I don't get along with. It's just I respond to it the same way I do in the real life scenarios, I guess. I don't know.
So then, what do you think are kind of like your goals for your time spent on Twitch? Like, what are the big dream? Are they just like, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
yeah.
100,000, you know what I mean? Just
Oh,
Well,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
well,
yeah.
Twitch
that's the yeah.
partner, you know what I mean? What is
Sure.
what is your goal or milestones that you'd like to accomplish?
Yeah, because I think the interesting thing is kind of hearing more at the beginning that it really is essentially just a hobby right now. Like,
Mhm.
do
Hmm.
you see pursuing this towards full time streaming, or is it always going to be kind of that hobby thing that you'll do? What kind of goals do you have?
Absolutely. So I was thinking about this, and it's funny because yeah, regardless of the fact that it's a hobby, I think looking past all the surface level stuff, and surface level in my eyes is like the numbers, okay? Like the partner badge or whatever. Like, yeah, sure, those are all goals, but that's not what I'm in it for. I think going back to what has been the highlight of my Twitch experience is my motive to pursue this. I was like, I love that I can, serve people through a different platform.
Yeah,
I serve people through my field of work. I serve people like in the home settings. Now I have an opportunity to serve people through the Twitch platform.
right.
Like, why not utilize that? And so that's essentially my goal, is just to be there for people, to love on people, to make sure that they feel safe and welcomed and cared for, and just I don't know, like making people smile, like making people laugh. That's like something I thrive off of.
Yeah.
And then another goal I actually have was, unfortunately, I think one of the things that I've witnessed on Twitch was that there's a lot of just like derogatory behavior towards like autism in particular. Like
Mm-hmm.
people, like they, in their speech they use it with a
Yeah.
negative connotation. I think
Hmm.
because I understand that in like a
Hmm.
personal level, um, I think I kind of like being able to be someone who could pretend like potentially raise awareness, and shed light on that. I don't know. It sounds kind of cheesy, but
No,
that's
it's
just
not. It
personally
is
like
so
I
No,
worth it.
it's very yeah. Did you say
Bro,
yeah,
rampant,
those are just
Mike? Is that the word you
yeah,
used?
personal
Yeah,
rampant.
passions.
that's the word I
It
was gonna
is
use
it is
too.
rampant, bro. Like, and I have to be honest, I can't sit up here on my high horse at
Yeah,
all. At all.
no,
And
I'm guilty.
it's
Yeah,
so it's so hypocritical because my uncle actually has been taking care of somebody who's autistic
Mhm.
his entire life. I mean, since he was literally like 10 years old, and now that person
Wow.
who was autistic is now in his 50s.
Oh, wow.
Like they have been like it's been like my uncle
That's
Jimmy and
crazy.
Brian, like that. It's just he's always been there, and like um for whatever reason, now the family, whatever the family set him up, so there's a lot of whatever, but
Sure.
still, it makes me feel a little bad that I this is hypocritical because this is what I have to say is I think that men, obviously, it's a huge generalization. I just think that men are just dicks, honestly. Like real like
What?
seriously. Like I was gonna try to find some
I was
term
I was
that
really
was like
hoping you're gonna like
no, I was
get
gonna
rid.
try to find some, but honestly, like
Oh
like think
my gosh.
about it. Like you never get how often do you get like a group of girls online using terminology like, when we're talking about autism? Like
Hey, you
I don't
never
I mean, I
know.
guess it could happen, but I just feel like
Well, it's hard to
it's
yeah.
definitely not like it just seems real crazy that it would just be a crazy world that if the people behind those Twitch profiles were all girls. That would be a mind-blowing thing for me, honestly, for some reason. But
Sure.
you know what? I respect that a lot because I feel like we right now the words we use and what's accepted in terms of what we say is changing heavy. It's changing
Sure.
super heavy. I mean, just in the past like 4 or 5 years, a lot of the terms in like the LGBT community are like now like they're on the same level as some of the worst derogatory terms you could ever think of, and
Sure.
rightfully so. And I think that these these terms, to be honest with you, they probably deserve to be up there at that level, honestly. There's no positivity in saying anything like that, you know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
respect that a million percent that you want to tackle that aspect in whichever way you plan on tackling, whether that be from, just within your community or, trying to start like a movement with your community, whatever that may be. I think that
Sure.
that is incredible. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah,
I-
and you know what? In retrospect, I was like, I'm not I'm not a person to judge. And I really, I look at these people and I see them by stepping into their shoes. And sometimes people make mistakes and we judge things that we don't understand, And we can't be blamed for that though. How am I going to judge someone? Well, first of all, I'm not going to judge them in the first place, but hypothetically speaking, let's say you make a judgment or assumption on someone and your level of knowledge is like maybe here and theirs is here and you can't and you're trying to get them to understand your level of knowledge and if they can't exceed that, like what are you going to do?
mm,
You can't be like that person's beneath you and like they're a bad person, like no, like you just kind of have to recognize like I don't think these people are meaning any harm, you know sometimes they just need to be educated it with a different perspective. I don't know. And so I'm like, maybe I can somehow, some way shed some light
Shining
and some sort
light,
of positivity
I'm
in these
just
people.
laughing
shining
because
light.
like
Like,
I feel like league chat in particular
uh-huh.
needs this mindset so
That's
bad.
so
Next time somebody
funny.
tells me to uninstall, I'm gonna be like, dude, you're telling me to uninstall based off of one 15-minute performance? Come on, man. At least give me
Yeah.
2 games. Like that's literally what I'm just gonna start saying now. And that's I swear, league chat, I feel like there's certain chats in certain games that are just next level that they just gotta get shut down and because
Like there's some salty people out there, right? Like
seriously, and, like, here's one thing, like, it would blow my mind. I would
it's
love if
so
somehow
funny
we
because
could see,
like
like, the statistic of, um, like,
level of
harassment,
saltiness. Like
saltiness in terms of, like it's just crazy, man. It's
yeah.
pretty hilarious, honestly.
Yeah.
I definitely
I
think
I don't think
meat
I'm
is
never
incredible.
bothered by it though. It's so funny because like people always ask me, they're like, why don't you get mad in League? I'm like, I don't know. Like
Oh,
That's
I
I
crazy.
think
wish
I
I
get
could
more
I
of a
too.
kick
wish
out of how
I could be that way too.
I get mad at my
Oh
friends.
my.
That's how bad it is. People I consider my friends, I get mad at. Like,
that's so
you
Ellie
should
gets
never do
so
that.
tilted with me sometimes.
Oh man,
He's
it's
gotten
horrible,
better,
right?
but yeah, it's
That
so funny.
that actually kind
Um
of transitions into what I actually wanted to ask next about
yeah.
Elliot is since Elliot was kind of a part of the reason why you got into Twitch, early or even now, is Elliot in your stream a lot,
Dude.
like
Oh yeah.
moderating your chat and like, yeah?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, like he'll game with me. He's super into Smash right now and he just started his stream. So he's like totally indulged in that.
That's awesome.
But he's literally sitting like 10 feet from me. Like we're at my place, but I let like he has his own little like streaming setup and everything. So but yeah, he's super involved in, my Twitch community regardless. He moderates, he games with me. And it's funny because in the very beginning, I questioned him. I told him, I'm like, yo, if you ever feel uncomfortable with me streaming, because people are like dudes are being weird or whatever, like
Yeah.
let me know and I will shut it all down. Because
That's
obviously my
awesome.
my relationship comes first. But we're so stable and like, trust is there. Like we don't yeah, he's
I
totally chilling,
think
but
I
he
think I
supports
was
me and I love
I think
that.
I was more of just like kind of that's awesome that I think I was more of just talking from a perspective because if I feel like my girlfriend, if she picked up any game, could probably like I feel like she's a funny person and she would never ever ever in her life ever do it.
That's
But
what I said.
I also would imagine that I would do nothing else with my time but moderate her chat to make sure that just like because I know what Twitch chat can be. And so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's where I was kind of asking from that perspective. Like early
Oh, you know
on,
what's
was
funny?
Elliot just like hammer,
Oh
hammer,
no.
hammer, hammer, hammer? Like, is that
Psych. That's the last thing he does. He laughs. He gets a kick out of people
oh,
say
that's hilarious too, honestly.
I think there was like one random thing that like way back, like it was I was like, this is some nasty stuff. Like, someone threw out in chat. And he's like laughing, he's cracking up. And I'm like, why aren't you telling him go away? Like he's like, I think it's funny. Because he doesn't like I said, we have so much trust in our relationship. He's not bothered by it. But if like obviously I'm bothered, I'm like, yo, can you get him out? And he's out right off the bat.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Did you know about League before meeting Elliot, or did he introduce you to it?
No, unfortunately, he introduced it to me.
Yeah, a
No,
true
I'm kidding.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
he's been gaming. He's been playing League, I think, for about 7 years or so with a
Wow.
few of our homies. And the first couple years of college, they would go to the PC cafes, and I'm like,
I
"Yo,
bet
let's
he's
hang out."
better
And they're
than
like,
us.
"Okay." No, don't.
Oh,
It's not a
No.
steep hill. I'm gonna be real honest with you. This
wow.
hill, the hill to get over our skill gap is a good 6 steps,
Yeah.
maybe. Like
You,
we're
you
not
just
high.
said
He just
the.
got that gold, guys.
I mean, somebody
Hey
here
man, someone
is
lost in the two
hard
v
stuck
two.
silver
Whoa,
3.
we don't need to talk
So
about my rank. We just need to talk about the 2v2 that happened, okay, buddy? Whoa.
That's so funny. But yeah, going back to the question, yeah, that he would. I was introduced to it because he and a couple of our friends would go to PC cafes and I'd watch them and I'm like, this is the most boring game I've ever seen in my life. Um,
I don't
but
know
this
why
was
you
way
started.
before I indulged in it. Yeah, and so he introduced it to me, or well, I guess I knew of it, but then when I started streaming, he was like, "You should try playing League when you stream," and I'm like, why? Like, I don't want to play that game. I tried it. I tried it, and it was like the most technical game I'd ever played in my life because I played a lot of like RPG games, like shooting games. Like
Sure.
League is a very next level type of game, but
that's what intrigued me too.
yeah, and then I took a break from it, and then I tried it again. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna view this with a different perspective. I'm gonna see League as a puzzle, so because I love puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I started my Twitch, and then I was like, okay, whatever, let's try League. Invested in a PC, started playing with Elliot, tried out Morgana for the first time because she was purple and that's my favorite color. Like literally the only reason why I chose that champ. Like and so and that's kind of how it started. And I'm like, this is kind of fun. I like that we were able to play a game together. He would get so mad at me. It was so we played bot lane together and I was support. I was so bad. Like
I
and
fear for
mind you,
him.
he's got like 7 years on me. And
Yeah,
he's like, maybe I
that those
regret
was
introducing this to him.
that was in the trenches right there. You guys are grinding it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so he was definitely there in the beginning. And he's still here playing. And it's fun. But yeah.
So then that what role do you think oh well, I actually kind of want to ask you, um, do you think what do you think your skill cap is in league? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think I'm hard stuck gold for the rest of my life. Do you think, and I know that people are like, oh, da, da, da," it just takes a lot of time. Like
Sure.
that's one thing that was surprising to me about league was because I dominated like every game that I honestly would play until I got onto league and was getting shit on by AI that were
Yeah.
supposedly beginner. Like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like, this is fucking beginner?" It's on my
Yeah, right?
face. I've been humiliated for a straight month by beginner bots. This is terrible, and then
That's
they're like,
so
"You
funny.
level up to intermediate," and no,
Yeah.
this is like that's like the jump that's a whole nother topic because that's not beginner and intermediate. That is a jump from, like, medium to, like, fucking very hard. Because them bots
Yeah.
sometimes, man, they even got skins. That's how you know they're the real deal, man. But no, yeah, so
Yeah, right?
where do you think so obviously you have to have enjoy really like personally enjoy league, not like not kind of faking it because he introduced it to you and I play it with you. You must genuinely enjoy it then to play it, to keep playing it honestly because it's a big time commitment. So where do you think in terms of like your rank you could if you put your time in, where do you think you could reach in terms of your rank?
Pro League, here I come. I'm just
I
kidding.
wish
I'm just kidding, right? I
I
honestly don't know. I think it really depends on you're right, how much time I invest into it, how passionate I become about it. Like, obviously, I'd love to rank up, but that's not where I'm at right now. For me, I'm still in a phase where I'm like, yeah, I've been playing the game for a year, but there's still so much game
one
knowledge, like
year.
game IQ that I want to like learn, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
well, okay, year. Like I started last season, but mind you, it's like what I play a couple hours a day, what twice a week or something. So it's like in retrospect, not
shit.
a lot.
I'd love to see those
Wow.
hours and then compare it to
Yeah, like I
ours. That's
feel. I mean,
crazy.
I feel really bad. It just made me
That's what I've
sweat a
said.
little bit, man. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh
Sometimes,
no.
I'm gonna be honest. League is a game that I would 100% not recommend to people just because of, like, seriously, just because of if you want a game that will suck your soul and that will make you want to play it when you know you have obligations, like,
And after you
it's just
lose,
the
you still
devil.
want to play, which doesn't
Yes,
make sense. Most
yeah,
games you lose or you
it's so
die
addicting.
and you
It's
get
honest
off
to
and you
God.
turn it off. Like I die in Kingdom
It
Hearts or I die in Final Fantasy, I'm out.
yeah,
I
move.
I
literally
Yeah,
lose in
next.
League, I'm going again. We go
Right.
again.
you
Like
have to
what's
force
wrong with
yourself
this
to stop.
game?
Sometimes I'll lose 4 in a row and be like, I've been playing for like 5 straight hours of literally straight losses. Nobody understands what that does to your brain. Like
Yeah,
the
45-minute
chemicals,
losses
Yeah.
too, the ones that
dude.
real hurt that hurt real
Yes,
bad.
yes.
Yeah.
And when,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
as a jungler, like people don't really, and maybe you feel it as a support because you see what happens in the other lanes, but as like
Sure.
an AD, as a top laner, and as a mid laner, you're just your brain and your eye power is so like just focused on what's happening in your little duel that you
Yeah.
don't
Totally.
see
In your lane
like
only.
the
Yeah.
intricate things that this top laner just did, and then you went down to try to make up for it in the mid lane, and that
Hmm.
happened. And then as a support, 'cause I've the trials and tribulations of support are real. That is true.
Yeah.
The flame, I
That's
think
true.
the flame is unreal with the supports. You just be warden trying to help your team out, and next thing you know, you get flamed. You're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not gonna ward. I don't know. This is terrible. Or you don't like what's the worst flame ever? I think we can all about this a little bit. Like when you first started playing League, and like I didn't even know what CSing was. So like playing blinds and
Oh
having like
my
two
gosh.
CS at 30 minutes, like the flame you receive
Oh,
at your
child.
early stages, even in bot games, is unreal. It makes you, but you still play. That's why I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend it. You're just getting
Yeah.
flamed. You're losing a lot of time. League's a great game,
Like things
honestly.
are like the world's against you in this game, but like for some reason you're sucked in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the game itself is just so great. That it's funny because you mentioned the CS thing. I tried mid lane. There's a reason why I'm not playing mid lane. Like
Yeah.
laning phase, so next level. But I think I personally enjoyed the game regardless of the hardship that they put you through because it's such a intricate game that it's
It
so
has
Yeah.
intriguing because I've never played another game like this. There's
so many
so many
levels.
different yeah, it's so dynamic. And I'm like, this is pretty sick. Like I said, I'm still developing my game IQ. I'm not even trying to rank up right now. That's not my goal. I'm trying to learn how to lane phase, you know?
I need to be
But
honestly,
like
we all need to have the same mindset you. None of us should be thinking about ranking up good
yeah.
enough. Like we
I mean,
need to think
obviously
about
it's
lane
fun,
fate.
but whatever.
I feel that.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I played ranked, but somehow I got out of somehow I'm silver 4. I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure that
Shit,
I'm
Jack.
pretty sure it's
Whoa,
I'm gonna be
wrong.
no,
honest.
she's coming for my spot,
Man,
bro. No,
listen,
Don't
no,
be bold. I play like I'm dirt.
no, dude.
this is a message to
Oh,
GT and Frosty. We gotta hold this man accountable.
yo, drop me, put her on the squad.
Talking about the
No,
benched
no,
buff
no, no.
crew.
No,
The man
dude.
himself, Jack, has been benched. It is
That's so
bad.
funny. No, it's
Not
funny. A
like
homie
this.
helped me get to like bronze or something like in a week, and then somehow got to silver 4. Hard stuck forever though. So don't feel bad. Like I'll
Man,
just be
that's
hard stuck
Not when you've
silver
been playing
4.
as long as I have.
you
Feels
know,
bad, man.
it took me 1,000 games to get out of bronze. So literally
Jeez.
my first season,
I remember you told me that.
1,080. That is not
You're
a joke.
insane,
So
bro.
feel
That's
happy because I grinded my life out. I
a
That's
probably
long
gained like
time,
so
Mike.
40
funny.
pounds. Like I
A
was just
long
That's
time.
Doritos, Mountain Dew in league,
True
just
gamer
nonstop.
fashion.
Literally, bro,
that's
49%
so
win rate. Here we
funny.
go. You know how much tilt was in those games? Okay, anyways.
That's crazy. Well, yeah, so I want to bring it back a little bit. Going back to Elliot,
Uh-huh.
something that we didn't cover that we sometimes
Uh-huh.
ask is how you guys met or how long you
Oh
two
yeah.
have been together. If you don't mind,
Oh
obviously.
shoot. Yeah, no. Okay, what, 2012, 13?
Oh,
Yeah, so we met 6, 7 years ago, via mutual friends in college. And we just became so close, like as friends for 4, 5 years. It's funny because we've only been dating for 2.
Okay.
Um, and I kid you not, even the week before we started dating, people were asking us when we were gonna date, and we're like, ew, no. Like that's never happening. Like, we never saw each other as a significant other. We were even seeing different people at the time, and it was just a solid, genuine friendship. Like we would go and have like one-on-one hangouts even, and never had we ever it never crossed our mind for us to consider dating one another. And so a month went by, and that's a long time for us, where we hadn't hung out as friends, and we were like, yo, where have you been? Let's hang out, let's go do something, like whatever. And I think just for a week straight, we ended up hanging out. We went like bowling, went to Santa Monica, whatever. Somehow we started catching feelings, and we were so taken back by it. I was like, is this supposed to be happening? Like, I don't think this is supposed to happen. Like, this isn't right. And so, we took some time to think about it and really just put things into perspective. And we're like, and we feared it. We feared the risk of losing that our years of friendship.
Right.
We thought about that because I'm like, if we break up, am I gonna lose my friend, my closest friend? And it was a big risk that we were, willing to put aside, but we pursued each other, and here we are. Like we started dating, and things didn't really change. I think the only things we did that did change were the fact that we were holding each other's hands, or you know.
yeah.
The friendship, the foundation was still there, and which has been a blessing. We started learning each other. It was, I think the weird thing for me was that we're starting to learn each other in a different way. We thought we knew everything about each other, but to date someone
Yeah.
is to learn them in a different, a different way completely.
Yeah.
And so we had to, grow in that aspect, but we did so, and yeah, that's kind of how it all started, and we're chilling now. We someday will
Chilling.
consider pursue marriage if that's, in the lines. Who knows? But yeah,
Whoa.
I mean, we talk about it, but
That's cool.
day by day. We're like
Yeah.
we still got our whole lives ahead of
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Like we don't even know if that's gonna happen, but it's
Yeah.
not something we do. We talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's super
So,
cool. And Mike, you want
go
to
ahead,
say?
bro.
Oh, I was just
No, go
gonna.
ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. I mean, that's super cool to hear, and obviously, it sounds like he's been very supportive of the streaming side, And how about your guys' life outside of the stream? Like, what kind of a support system has he been for you just throughout all these years, really? I mean, clearly there's something to keep
Yeah.
with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He knows the ins and outs of me, whether I like it or not. And this was even before we started dating.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of hardship that I had gone through in my own personal life with like family and stuff like that that he was a part, like he was indulged in. I shared that life, that side of my life with him. And he was there just supporting me and being my backbone through that. And um the fact that we were able to have these traits in our relationship as friends, it was able to be just carried into our current relationship now as significant others.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been a constant thing in our lives. Like we avoid, we're type like as individuals we avoid conflict. We never yell at each other. We don't even fight. Like I don't remember the last, like
That's
we've had
amazing.
like
That's
what,
awesome.
three
Man,
discussions or
that is
debates in our
awesome.
relationship. Like
That's awesome to hear that
yeah, we
story.
don't we don't yell at each other, we don't cuss at each other. If ever we have a dispute, it's like we discuss what the problem is, we find a solution, we learn from our mistakes and we move forward. That's it. You know? So our relationship just consists of us being assholes to each other and laughing. Like but yeah, I don't know. We're supportive of each other regardless of what we do. Like he wants to pursue the Air Force. Um
Oh wow.
and people ask me, like, they're like, "How do you feel about that?" I'm like, "Dude, if he wants to do and if that's what makes him happy, let the man join the Air Force. What am I to stop him? Like,
Yeah.
no, like that'd be selfish of me.
Wow.
Vice versa.
Jeez. It's
Yeah.
just
Hats off to
everything
him
that
for
we're
putting it into
hearing, that
class.
I'm hearing, is just so like next level mature intellect, and it's just mind blowing that, oh my
Nah,
god.
Thank
I
It's
you.
feel you a million
crazy.
percent on
Thank
the
you.
whole not arguing thing with your significant other. I think that if you are spending time like having those such strong negative feelings, like to being engaged in that full on argument, or even to like the anxiety of like, are they going to be mad? Like
Mm,
that weighs on you so
sure.
heavy. I mean, like
Absolutely.
especially if you genuinely love your significant other, like
Right.
that weighs on you, like just as much as like money issues do, almost like heavier, because you're like, especially when you live with them too, you know what I mean? It makes it a
Right.
whole different thing. And so that was something that I took, I think that there's like a little connection here because my parents were split and I come from a split home, a very split, aggressive, divided home as well. Or not maybe as well in terms of for you, your household being aggressive, but split. Um,
Sure.
and I think that uh, it kind of makes sense that we both are like, in our relationships are kind of at this point where like we won't like we don't want to argue, like we're past, like we want to like talk our things out and work on them and grow together, and because
Right.
we are changing people and we are changing in different directions, but we can like kind of mold those directions so that we always come together, you know what I mean, so that maybe we're
Absolutely.
not having that like. And I think that a lot of that just stems from communication, because that's one thing that I found in relationships is unbelievably massive is communication, like extra communication, over the top communication,
Right.
communication that may seem annoying, sometimes like repeating or just beating the dead horse with something. Like those are some of the things that, I think that you kind of have to do in order to have a like strong foundation.
Yeah. And essentially, like what it comes down to is like we're a team. Like as teammates, we're gonna fall together and we're gonna grow. What we're not gonna do though is start pointing fingers at one another, like I think that's something we really value. And like again, as problem solvers, we're like that I don't ever want to be against him. I don't ever want to put him down. I don't ever want him to, feel like he doesn't feel safe in my presence or is offended by anything that I do. So I don't know. And I think I learned these types of traits, having experienced own personal problems outside of my relationship. And eventually they were just kind of carried into my relationship. So I don't know.
So
I see what you're saying.
I feel that. I think it's a good time to kind of switch it up and go towards just kind of random questions here or there. I think the first thing that I kind of want to ask you is about the whole joining Vicious thing and what that process was like. Whether like
Oh,
you
okay.
contacted them or they contacted you, you know what I mean? Were you recommended? How does
Yeah,
that? Because you know this guy isn't a part of Vicious, so I'm not sure how that process goes. You know what I mean?
sure. Yeah, so it's funny because I actually I hit up Torchy. And
Yeah.
I asked him questions because I was like, what's it like to, be a part of an org, or like, what has your experience been? Because I was just curious. It kind of, in the back of my mind, as much as I didn't really want to admit to myself at the time, an end goal was to join an org someday. I
Yeah.
didn't know how, didn't know when, didn't know what I was gonna do about it, how to approach it or whatever. So Torchy was someone I knew that was part of an org, and I like looked him up a little bit. Like I looked up Vicious and wanted to see what they were about, and started asking questions. Like I was like, "How'd you get it? Like how'd you become a part of it? Like if they ever mistreated you, like things like
Yeah.
that." And I heard some, all just positive things from it, and so I decided to reach out to the guy. Who did Pre-Fires. I
Yeah.
reached out to Pre-Fires, got in contact with him, and he kind of just, discussed what Vicious was all about even more so. What their expectations are, what their goals are, what their purpose is. And so I was like, okay, this is really cool. However, I was very hesitant in the beginning because I was like, okay, if they have to stream like once a week for 4 hour slot, like I don't think my schedule can do it. And I told Pre-Fires that I was like, I was like, I appreciate you wanting me to be a part of the organization. However, I don't want to be that person to say I'm going to commit if I'm not going to commit. You know what I mean? I didn't want to put them at that type of risk. And I was like, if there's someone out there better suited for this position, like by all means, choose someone else. But I was able to kind of just adjust my work schedule a little bit because I realized this is kind of something I want. And they were persistent about it. Like they were very kind and respectful and accommodating to me. And like I said, I kind of was hesitant. I told them like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, but they were pushing for me to want to join. And I think I was very, appreciative of that and like flattered by that. So, and Pre-Fires even talked to the CEO about my potential stream schedule, like if it was obligatory that I streamed every single week. Cause I told him, I was like, I don't know if I can. And they were so kind and accommodating and letting me know that, like they were like, it's okay if you can't. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. Just join. So I was like, that's wow. I was like, that's so kind and such a blessing. Let's just do it. And here we are. And I've been enjoying the experience ever since. I've gotten to know more people. I've gotten to, check out other people's streams and like you know, gain support and gain love in return. I don't know, I've been grateful for it. It's been fun.
I
That's
definitely
yeah.
think. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's really cool that to hear your perspective on what the process was like, just because I just know that for the um stream obligation thing, that was always
Mhm,
that in the past had been a huge point of like contention for people, and like kind of
mhm.
where some drama did stem at times, was just surrounding that. So to hear that they were very accommodating towards you was a really nice thing to hear. So
Yeah, yeah. I was grateful for that. And like I said, I disrespect them and tell them like, "Oh, I'll give you my 110% if I really couldn't
right,
follow through with that."
yeah,
And so I was just genuine and honest with them, but I think maybe if it's because they saw that, they maybe decided to be a little bit more accommodating. I don't
yeah,
know, but I
sure,
was just grateful regardless. So,
yeah,
I definitely think whoever made the decision made a good decision. I think that there's, even regardless if, obviously it would be ideal for them if you could stream, but even if not, I think that you were a good pickup. Because I think, and I think this podcast will do a lot of justice to bring out who you are as a person. Because I think that you're somebody that not only people can get behind, but brands can get behind too.
yeah.
Because
thank
big
you. That
problem.
means so much to me. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
No, for real, because a big problem that I think, I'm not gonna speak for Jack, but a big problem that I know I have is the fact that I'm a loose end sometimes. I'm a cannon. And like that, like you have to just be real honest with yourself.
Sure.
That's honestly, that's just not cool. You know what I mean? Especially when brands are trying to pursue you for like representation, and then your streams are now representing, you know what I mean? You're streaming for something else, something more than, you know what I
Sure.
mean? And um, so I think Vicious sees that not only are you somebody that people can get behind, but you're somebody that, regardless of if Vicious was the org that you got with now, I think that you were eventually going to end up with somebody backing you. And I think that it would be obviously, you know, life is long, and, you know, you take all advice with a, you know, grain of salt. But I think that it would be an incredible decision for you to like do this, because I think that there could be a whole lot of upside for you personally in this world. Because I think that brands are looking every day for people who aren't like just that good person when the camera turns on. And
But
I think
Sure.
all
that
the time, yeah.
there's a big difference from somebody who's a good person when the camera's on than from when they're a good person when they're just walking about. Like,
Sure.
and I think that you give off such a vibe, and you get the vibe as soon as you click on the stream. I think this isn't to like gas and, you know, you or to, you know, whatever, but so I think that they see that, and I think that people will see that too, and I think that I definitely think that um I always use this analogy of, I think Twitch is like a train, and your momentum is like a train. And if you don't stay on that train when you have momentum, it can be hard to get the train moving again.
Sure.
But I feel like with certain people, the train, like, it will chug at whatever pace regardless. Like, you know
Sure.
what I mean? It might like it might not take as much hard work as it might take for Paul, or, you know what I mean? Regardless of like deserving or not, you know what I mean? Hard
Mhm.
work or
Mhm.
um but yeah, I just think that uh you're somebody who is at the start of that train picking up speed. And I think that the only thing that this stops you is, I think, time.
Yeah.
Honestly, is just like the time, you know, put in. And I think that um it's awesome with this podcast to have this side of it, because Loft and Steve, our other guests, and even Jack, as Torchy as one of our guests, these guys are like, and, you know, and not to say anything, not trying to say anything bad about you, like not streaming, you know, in the trenches grinding every day, but, you know, these are people who are just, you know, they're streaming a lot. They're putting in the
Yeah.
hours, you know what I mean? And um, I think that for some people, they just don't have to put in as many hours. Like there's just something, you know what I mean? And I think that, uh, yeah, long story short, I think that Vision made a good decision, and I think that you're gonna boom, blow up. Yeah, we
Oh,
caught you at an
thank
early
you.
start.
Thank you. I'm very humbled by that. But in my perspective, I just feel very fortunate, because in my eyes, I'm like, I reap what I sow. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to, indulge in this community as much as I love to, but and it puts me in a place where I'm put at a setback or I'm plateauing, and okay, that, but that's on me.
Mhm.
Um, you know, um, but then there's other people out there that are just like you said, there's people out there that are grinding, and I'm like, yo, power to them.
Mhm.
They deserve the freaking world, like get this bit of partnership, like um, but I'm not saying I'm not better than these people. I'm not. I'm the
No, not
furthest
at
thing,
all.
like not, we're all just on different pages, and um I think there's so much value to remembering, like, yeah, like hard work is going to pay off, and that's something I want to, keep myself accountable to. When I like finally transitioned to my new job, I told myself, like, yo, I'm gonna have more time to stream. So I was like, yo, let's now we can start grinding,
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just fortunate. Like I'm grateful for the fact that they, selected me. Um, I don't know how often people are, provided with the opportunity, but I'm humbled, and I'm going to stay humbled, and I'm going to just work hard for them. If it means putting my own personal stream aside, then I'm going to give them 150% for them,
Mhm.
as a response of being grateful. So, but yeah.
That's that's pretty awesome. So next question that I kind of want to ask kind of pivots from gaming.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of a basic question, but I like it because I think you can tell a lot about a person based off this question is if you could only listen to one album, watch one movie, and watch
Oh
one
shoot.
show, what would it be?
Oh, I was thinking about this
One
album
album,
earlier. I don't
movie, and
know what
show.
crap. Some sort of Queen album. Not
Okay.
gonna lie, some sort of Queen album.
Oh, okay.
Did you go see that movie that just came
Yeah.
out?
Um, my go-to movie would probably be Goodfellas. Um,
I didn't expect that.
Same.
I am super into mobster films. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so. It's funny. My whole stream theme is like mobsters. Like,
I
Is that
feel
why you
that.
play
It's pretty
Mafia,
dope.
Brahm?
yeah, of
Oh my
course.
god. Yo, my mind is
Um,
blown,
I
dude.
literally only played that
What?
champ because of that skin. I was like, yo,
What?
that dude. And he just happened to be support. And he
Right.
was kind of like a pretty good champ. So I'm like,
Yeah,
but
it's a
I
pretty
want
good
the
time.
skin. Like,
Why do heck?
I was like, there is some power in that mustache, and there's like that gold bolt. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
It's a pretty
I
dope
love
skin,
it.
to be honest.
It's a great
Right?
skin, but I didn't like
I love that the
realize. I thought it
little
was just like,
photos have like their pistols and their little fedoras. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this is sick.
yeah.
Yeah. So like, I go to film probably Goodfellas.
And then
Wow.
do you have a show?
uh, hmm. No, I don't know.
If not a show, what
No.
about a book?
Oh
Since
yeah,
Oh,
one
you
book.
read.
Well, I feel like that's
Maybe
an easy
either
answer.
book or
I gotta be. I feel
Oh,
like I
I
already
think I
know
know
the
the answer to
answer.
this.
What's the answer?
Wait,
I
you
don't
go.
know.
Wait.
My
Let me.
my answer is the curious incident of a dog
Oh,
on the.
Okay.
okay. Never
Mike, what were
mind.
you gonna say on
Like
3?
such a
Nah, you
random book,
first,
right?
bro.
No,
You
no, on
first,
3. What do you
bro.
think you what do you
Oh God, bro.
Wait, tell me.
Okay, bro.
on
Ready?
3?
Bro, wait. It's like a little latency, so I'm gonna probably end up saying it first. So I'm just gonna say it first,
Wait,
regardless.
wait.
I
Can
was
we
gonna.
can we do a type in here? Like
Okay, rock paper scissors. Who goes
no,
first? Go.
like I'll do a countdown on Discord. Do you see my thing?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to go
Go ahead.
down to 1 and then after
okay.
1 we go, okay?
Okay.
They're like
Go ahead.
typing their little numbers.
Go ahead. Oh man.
2. What?
Bible.
Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I honestly thought it was gonna be the Bible.
I thought
just
so
because of-
too.
only because of how
That's a good answer though.
strong your answer was. That when we
Initially.
asked you about
Yeah.
Oh, how
influence,
funny.
like how you're like God, God first, like how
Yeah,
quick
yeah,
you were just to
yeah.
answer
Yeah.
that. I honestly thought, well, if it's one book and you're on a stranded island, it's a pretty
Yeah.
hopeless situation.
Hey, that's a
Might be
You
really.
good,
might
but-
have
I
yeah,
like
that
it
would be the
might
one to
disagree,
have
man.
with you.
That's
God,
funny.
that-
Yeah, that's a good answer too, though. Like I always read my scripture.
Oh, that's
But yeah,
awesome.
I love the book I mentioned was basically a book based off of a kid who has autism, but
Mhm.
the book is his journal.
Oh.
So you're able to kind of dissect and like dive into the mind of a person who has autism, which is like a whole new perspective, which is pretty cool. So that's why I like the book so much.
Can you repeat the title again?
It's called The Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime. The cover's
Okay.
like orange and like there's a dog on it,
I
but
see
he's
it.
like upside down. But yeah,
Wow.
it's a pretty
Okay.
good book. It's an easy read, but it's really fun.
That's awesome. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
My
Yeah.
literature knowledge is not that impressive, I gotta be honest. It's like my if I had a bookshelf, the bookshelf would contain of like Harry Potter. I've read that too many times. Too many times.
Hey, it's a
And
great
then
series.
probably The Great Gatsby, and then yeah, that's
Nice.
my
Dude, I buy
bookshelf. It's a
random I
total of
freaking
like
bought
9
Dracula the other day.
books.
Like,
Oh man. Oh
dude,
wait, I
I
read Aragon as a kid.
I remember
Did you read
that.
that?
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
That was fun. I didn't really indulge in that. My sister loved it. She read like all the books. Like,
This is the first sign that I knew that I had like a bad little like maybe lazy streak or just like a when I found out that there was like a bunch of Aragon books, I checked out. I gotta be honest. I was like,
oh,
wait, this isn't the way
yeah.
because like
There's a lot. There's a
I was like, hold up, bruh. This is too much now. I'm out of here.
and
Like,
I think there's like what's the I don't even remember what there's a red one and that one's like
yeah,
twice the size of
literally.
Eric.
And then there's like, yeah, I was just like, yeah, I'm out this jam, bruh.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I was a reader. My sister was like, she was like next level reader.
You know, when I was a kid, honestly, I had this weird. It's a horrible, horrible. Like honestly, it's pretty stupid. But I had this thought of like, if I'm gonna read, this was just dumb, Michael. Honestly, oh man, I'm getting flamed for this. If
No.
if I'm gonna spend time reading, I'm gonna read a book that I know is good. And so I kept reading Harry Potter because I didn't want to like spend the time reading a book for the book to not be good. And that's like,
How
and then I realized that my
funny.
mom told me because my mom loves reading, like, well, how do you know if a like well, you gotta at least try to read the book to know if it's good? And I was like, wait, that is a good point. So I went like a long time like saying fuck that to a lot of books just because like I don't know, it's whatever. I just love Harry
No, dude,
Potter.
same. Like I love reading, but there's a bunch of books out there that I'm not even reading.
That's one thing, honestly, I don't know why. That's one thing that I want in my house, like a whole wall, is like a bookshelf of books I read. I don't know why that
Yeah.
would feel like an
Whoa.
accomplishment.
That'd be kind of
Yeah,
cool to
that'd be pretty
have.
sick. I
That'd be
want like
pretty
a
cool,
whole
right?
library like that I could just like sit and read for hours and hours and hours if I could. Like I
Oh.
can literally go to like I love going out by myself when I have spare time. So I've been to Barnes and Nobles and just sat there and read for like 4 or 5 hours straight by myself. I'm not even joking.
Do you
Like
Have you gone
consider
to
that
Barnes and
cheating?
Nobles to like yeah, I was gonna say to
Like, do you
like
know what I
read
mean?
the
Like,
book before
is
you
that considered cheating? What's the etiquette? Because I'm not like a big
wait,
reader.
what?
The etiquette on
Cheating
going
how?
to Barnes and Nobles, for example, and reading a full on book. Like,
Oh,
if you
that's so
went there
Oh,
and
for
read the full
free?
book,
yeah.
yeah, but you don't buy it. So, is that
Oh, dude,
considered cheating, or
that's not cheating.
is
That's
that
called living
eti-
on a budget. Like
Okay,
Oh
okay, okay,
man.
okay,
I'm
okay,
just
okay, okay,
kidding.
okay.
I'm just kidding. No,
Like, I want to know the true
I,
etiquette
I
of being at a store
I
like
end up
that.
buying it. I truthfully I end up buying the books that I end up reading.
So wholesome.
I think
Like,
it's just
actually
because
buying it.
I like having the books. Like there's a bunch of like Elliot's like get a Kindle. I'm like no, you can't smell the pages or I'm like
Feels
I'm
That's
so
like
so
good.
true, though.
I'm like you can't smell it. Like I don't know what it is, but like books smell nice. Like to
I
me, I
actually
don't know.
really don't like I don't like any books that aren't hardcover. It literally is a
Oh
pet
yeah,
peeve
yeah,
of mine.
Oh.
Like I don't even like I'm not a big reader, but it's like a
yeah.
literal pet peeve of mine. Like my school books. These flimsy old 500-page ass books, these big old ass fucking things, man. Oh, that pisses me off. You can't I'm
That's
paying thousands.
so
The school
funny.
thing pisses you know why? This is a whole different topic. The whole thing with the school books pisses me off, honestly, because you motherfuckers are gonna take five figures from me and I can't get a
Mm,
hardcover book?
right.
You cheap ass. Oh man.
Dude, it's like when it comes to textbooks, you have to be ready. You're about to sell your soul, okay? If you're trying to
Oh
buy
yeah.
it, one
Yeah,
textbook that
yeah.
you're gonna use, or just kidding, you're not even gonna
You're
use
not gonna use.
for 16 weeks. Like,
You
You're
know,
not gonna use till
honestly,
the final.
oh my god.
one thing about textbooks is I got a blessing. This was like honestly one of the biggest signs that God was real is because I got placed my freshman year into like a sophomore level chem class, and the problem was is that I didn't know none of the formulas from the freshman year, so I'm like in
Shoot.
here just head deep in formulas I don't understand. And the
Yeah.
textbook had all the answers, all of
Oh
them
shoot, that's so nice.
for everything for the whole semester, and I literally was just like looking up like oh
Oh.
man, dude. Talk about save my ass. This is a quick F, a quick waste of the money. But no, yeah, it's pretty yeah, that's a whole different topic. Go ahead, bro, if
Yeah.
you
That's funny.
wanna
Yeah, no, just continuing down the like line of random questions. What is your go-to party trick or weird quirk that like not many people know about? For example, can you lick your elbow? Can you solve a Rubik's Cube? Do you know like a magic trick that you could perform or something? Like just random fun thing.
Uh, it's funny because I totally forgot about this question. And one question I was trying to come up with an answer. I don't know.
Do you
I'm
play an
really a boring
instrument?
person, guys.
yeah,
Like
do you
I'm
play an
really
instrument?
Yeah, do you play an instrument? Do you know how to
yeah.
do like
Well, okay.
Can you
origami
cook?
or do you I'm just trying to think of random things that I
I
might
Do you enjoy
yeah, I played an
sleep?
instrument from okay for I played the viola for 5 years. I
Okay,
haven't
I was
played for years though.
violin.
Yeah, I was. Oh no, I was viola.
No,
I
I'm
was a
saying
viola
I
and
was
like oh
violin,
you were violin?
so I can relate. I was in orchestra.
Oh nice. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I loved it. It was something I became very passionate about. I was first chair all 5 years,
Oh,
and then
hey now, first
got into
chair. Let's go.
chamber. Didn't have to didn't have to audition for chamber.
Same.
Just kind of got the ticket in. I guess yeah. I was I'm passionate about acting. I have a whole theater background, where
Cool.
I would do a lot of like on stage productions. So I love being on stage. I love costume design. I love hair and makeup. I love acting. I love singing and dancing. I'd rather be on a stage though with an audience, with a live audience rather than, camera work.
Hmm.
Um because with like I've taken like improv classes and those are great, but like commercial workshop classes not really my thing because you're like in a little room with the camera and the director and you have a slate and I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
Not really my thing. But with, in theater, when you're on stage and you have that, you have your family in front of you, you have a live audience, you literally hear them laughing, you
Yeah,
feed
you
off
can
of that
feed off of
energy.
it. Exactly.
Yeah, like it was a
Yeah.
different vibe. And I think that's kind of why I liked the idea of Twitch too, was like, yo, I've always wanted like a YouTube channel because our casting directors and stuff were always like, yo, build your social medias. And I'm like, crap, I don't even care about my social media.
For real though.
I got like what, barely even 30 pictures on my Instagram that I've had for years. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess those are kind of different things that people don't really know about me.
So,
I
did you do like, was it plays, musicals, everything?
Yeah.
Okay,
Plays and musicals. Like,
gotcha.
the last musical I did was Guys and Dolls, Lead Dancer. And that one's a fun little show because it's staged in like the 20s, 30s, like so super roaring 20s era, which is totally my thing.
Yep,
A lot of flashy Broadway dancing, singing, acting. It was fun. Yeah, I
that's
love it.
super cool.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite, like, the one of my favorite time periods, I think, when anybody talks about like being able to go back in time, is like
Mm.
if you could put me dead smack in the middle of like the Great Gatsby era, like right before the Great Depression, where just everybody was just going nuts, and there was just red
Yeah.
dresses, and it was just sure, like what was happening in the world may have not been cool, but like you
Right.
know what I like.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
If I could just enjoy the positives
The
of
other
those
vibes. Yeah.
times,
Oh yeah, the
then
whole like
like
prohibition era,
yeah,
totally.
like that
But no,
that
I say
time.
that all the time. It's funny because all my friends are like, "Sarah, you were definitely born in the wrong era. Like,
I
you
get
should
told
have
that
been born in
all
the
the
Roaring
time.
'20s."
Yeah.
Like, I'm the least tech savvy person you guys will ever come to know. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. Ironically, yes, the least tech savvy person. I'm like, give me a typewriter. Well, I'm good. Like,
It's
that's so
definitely
funny.
work for me to post on. You know what's crazy is I make money posting on social media for other people's accounts. But when
Oh,
it comes to Michael Williams posting on an account, like I can't. I just there's something about it. Like I I have to make myself post on Twitter. It's a make thing, or like
yeah,
Facebook.
I feel
Facebook.
you.
My Facebook posts can like they literally consist of me saying let's go Steph Curry, or like the most basic, like they're nothing because I don't even know like what do people like. I scroll through my
Yeah.
feed and I'm just like people are so crazy, like they think of the craziest things to post. Like I don't know how people do that. Like it's a crazy
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, it's for, some people enjoy it, some people don't. I happen to be one of those people who don't really care, I guess. I just find interest like other interests, like I don't remember the last time I logged onto my Facebook. I don't
I
I don't
feel
even
you.
know if I remember my password. Like uh I think I like gaining real life experiences than having my phone, like my face stuck behind a screen. Like I think one of the biggest things that freaks me out in today's society is you'll see like 2-year-olds with iPads at the dinner table at a restaurant.
Yeah, yeah,
That freaks
that's
me
wild.
out.
Yeah.
It freaks me out. And I'm like, you have to like I see parents that are just like their kids are crying and they give them an iPad to shut them up or something. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yo, like you have to
Something's
recognize
something's
you're
up here.
playing, yeah, you're playing a risky game because these are things that your kids are going to be taking a toll in like later down the line. Your kids potentially might even start lacking social skills, which is one of the biggest skills that we as humans need to develop.
Literally.
And it's such a
Yep.
hard skill to develop,
Hmm.
but I promise you that keeping them behind a screen is not going to help.
Yeah,
Like,
for
I
real.
think, screen time in moderation, sure, whatever, that's great, but don't don't give your child like iPad to shut them up just because you don't want to hear them cry. Like
It's
play with your
definitely.
child. I don't know. Like
Hmm. No,
sorry, that
I
kind of
definitely,
you
no,
went
I
on.
understand that 100%. So before we go and go to the viewer questions, I actually wanted to give you an opportunity because you said earlier that you had some questions for us. So if you
Yeah.
wanted to
Oh yeah.
maybe, yeah, whatever, I don't know. This is like surprise for me. So whatever you wanted to ask us,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I personally have always wanted to podcast. I think the reason why I haven't formulated one and conducted one was I didn't know what the content was. So my question to you guys is what inspired you to really get started? Like and how did you get started?
go ahead, bro.
Yeah, sure. So I think for me, well, so Mike and I had talked about doing a podcast months ago, like six
Good minute.
plus months ago. And it had been something that we mentioned in passing to each other and then kind of just like swept it under the rug. For me, I think it was probably due to like if we go back like 6 plus months, that's probably during the time that I was doing a lot of Fortnite stuff, and that was like a huge boom for my channel. So I was really
Hmm.
focused on that. Plus, like a couple of personal things came up in life, but I kind of just didn't really think about the podcast. And then um recently, like at least in the past couple months, I've been watching a lot of podcasts or listening to a bunch of podcasts, and I was like, I even started one with my sister. So I was like, oh, well, if I'm going to start with my sister, I might as well do one for the stream too, where I feel that it's really important for us to get to know some of the people that we interact with, like almost every time that we go live. Like
Mhm.
people like Steve, for example, like me getting to personally meet him 2 different occasions, once at TwitchCon and then at the creator meetup. It's like, there's so many things that people don't know or hear about, and it's just because like most of the time when we're streaming, it's like, yeah, you can share personal things, but then there's also the gameplay aspect. So if we just strip it all down to just conversation,
Mhm.
that's what I wanted to kind of get at. So there's just so much to learn about people. Like there's a lot that some people just sometimes don't share. They like it will, like you said, you'll get messages from people, right? And I've
Right.
had that too. And sometimes just giving them a platform to kind of open up and
Sure.
speak has been pretty cool. So I know, Mike, I don't know,
Yeah,
what do you
That's
think?
awesome.
for me, I honestly have been on the verge of starting my own podcast, wanting to do my own podcast, wanting to be a part of podcasting
Mhm.
for about a year now. I feel like, even though I like am very prideful in terms of my gameplay and like I try to say, oh, I'm, at least in one trick, oh, big bad guy, you know what I mean? But like, I really feel like I can connect with people on a different level just talking to them.
Yeah.
And I've gotten that feel throughout my entire life, just from people telling me. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe if it's like, self-conscious, being like too high on myself, but I feel like I want to just have conversations with people. And the what better way to do that than this kind of format? And I
Yeah,
also think
absolutely.
I think that there's another side of this too, that I uh, was kind of pushing more so for Jack, was that, and I could also say pushing it for you as well, is just allowing people to see you in different facets, different mediums, different situations,
Right.
scenarios means a lot. It means the difference between uh like people coming back or people connecting with you, people whatever. It can mean the difference between people not thinking you're this way, like, stereotypical, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm. Mhm.
and I think that it also doesn't hurt to just do more things, have your face on more things out there in this, to help with personal growth. Because I think in this game, you need as many different outlets as possible. People need to see you as much as possible in as many different fashions. And I
Mhm.
think that for Jack, like how I told you how I felt that vicious scene that you were somebody that people could get behind. You know what I mean? I felt the same way with Jack super early on. And so when I brought it to Jack, I had brought it from a position of like, dude, you're a dope person. I know people would they already love to watch you game. I know people would love to watch you like talk to people, and it just kind of so happened that people around like Buff Crew, kind of maybe I don't really like talking on this like that much because it like is talking about myself in like a different position than them, but like
Sure.
there's like a connection, like a back and forth me and Jack have, or like a how would you describe it, Jack? Like
Well,
a
it's like it's
I don't
interesting
want to make it
because
seem like it's any bigger than
no,
anybody
no,
else,
I know
but
what you're
like
saying. I
it's an
mean,
interesting dynamic.
yeah, there's
It's
a
fun.
dynamic that the thing too is for from my perspective, it's because of the fact that it goes way back. Like
Mhm.
you outside of my IRL friends that I knew going into streaming and stuff like that and playing League, you're one of the first people that I played with consistently and like voice commed with. So like we were talking back and forth and people were seeing the dynamic between us in conversation and then in our gameplay and in our
Mm.
communication. So people were like, "Oh, this is hilarious" or whatever. And so I was like, well, what better way than we've talked so much outside of streams that we know each other to a certain
On a more
extent.
personal level.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah,
like, well, I'm
sure.
gonna bring
Yeah.
Mike on.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah.
Super blessing, and I'll say
Um,
it forever because I really feel like, um, and this is something that I am actively working on and challenging myself with the whole me streaming thing. But I feel like Jack is in a position to bring anybody on, and it's going up. Kind of the same thing with Steve, with Loft, with you. I feel like all of you guys are in these positions where whoever you guys surround yourself with, those people are blessed. And like because
oh,
it should be a selection because there's so many people that you have to be careful who you like let close to you, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why I always, even when Jack had first brought it over to me, I told him initially right there, like, I'm like super thankful that you even thought to choose me to co-host, kind of like how you felt, like how you were thankful that we even asked to have you on. I was like,
absolutely.
so I was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe
Yeah,
you would
like
even
what?
ask me
Me?
to, yeah,
What?
like it was like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And,
Yeah.
um, but I don't know. I honestly think that you should do it. You should do it in whatever facet you want to do it in. I have like 4 or 5 different ideas for like podcasting. Like the one thing that I was challenging is, and maybe you can agree with this a little bit, is like, is you don't want to call your podcast something that locks it in to a certain thing,
That
you
limits
know?
it.
Yeah, because
Yeah. I
then you
completely
can't
agree.
talk about certain things
Right.
during that, and that kind of takes it out of what it is. And so that
Right.
has been something that I feel like has kind of delayed the process for me on my end. And that's why I was super happy when me and Jack kind of compiled this idea of like, because I already like I on my own time go and try to watch small streamers anyways.
Mhm.
So it to like give them a platform where they can connect with their communities more, and maybe we can meet good friends. Sounds like a great opportunity. I don't know how you can see a negative in that,
Yep.
Right.
honestly.
Yeah, I feel like I've just personally been stuck cuz I'm debating on like content selection. So like what do I want my podcast to be about? Do I want to have a co-host? And I even today Elliot and I were talking about it because we knew I was going to, be joining you guys this evening and I was like, "Oh, let's start a freaking podcast."
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're like,
Well,
"Let's
yeah.
do it." But then again, what's the content going to be? And so we were kind of trying to think about things that, we wanted to like discuss like cars or I don't know, like but it's hard. And then I guess my question to you guys also is what were some struggles that or like what tips do you guys have for me if I were to start, indulging in my own like podcast channel, I guess. Like what are some tips that
You
you've learned from from your experiences
you
developing your
are
podcast?
you've already shown from just this little conversation that we have that you have, like I said, there's a theme of like just leaps that
Mhm.
the like leap to California, leap with your job. So I feel like you are good at taking leaps. I mean, you're not afraid of that. I mean, that sounds kind of weird to say, but the biggest problem I feel like with podcasting, there's two things. It's like the normal start button thing with anything streaming wise, just like the so much anxiety just to hit
Mm.
start. But then with podcasting, and this is something that I just realized in my last podcast, is it can bring up tendencies, uh, like dialect tendencies that you have. and
Oh, I know what
that
you're talking
is
about.
that is uh that's a different that's something that you noticed in yourself if you hadn't had that facet, and so you start to see those kinds of things as well from it. And you know, I
What
forgot what
kind
the
of
word is that
tendencies
I
are you
say.
referring to? Like, if you
So
don't mind
So
me
it's
asking.
like it's
Could
like
you elaborate on
lecturing,
that a little bit?
yeah, so like by dialect tendencies, just like terms in which you use a lot, like
Ah.
like, and
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah,
like the
yeah.
um
things your filler
lol.
words. Somebody pointed it
Right.
out, and I was like, Mike, you got a little self conscious, buddy.
Oh
No, it's
no, bro,
okay.
no, bro. But
Just
because
playing.
I
That's
went back and
so
listened,
funny.
and they're right. Somebody put a sock in his mouth. He says it a million times. Like, and it's a great thing because you see that in yourself and you
Yeah.
can challenge that in yourself.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't do anything negative to challenge that in yourself. All it does
Right.
is make you more intellectual. It broadens your vocabulary, it broadens your in the moment decision making with your dialect, because
Absolutely.
that's something that is a trait that is like is worth diamonds, honestly. If you in the moment like know what to say, like
Mhm.
correctly, how to articulate your thoughts, that is a really really massive skill. And so I don't know, I think my biggest tip to you would just be go for it, because you seem like
Yeah.
you're you're good at going for it, honestly. And
Oh,
you
thanks.
you like hit bullseye more times than not. And so as long as you obviously kind of figure out the logistics of it, like what's going on with it, like the name, code, so on and so forth, format, da
Mhm.
da da, all of that stuff is just creativity. And that's
Right.
why I'm so happy that I have somebody like Jack, because your boy's creativity, that part of his brain is dark as fuck. There ain't no cells there. So
Jack trying to shine some light in you.
man, for real though, it's a
That's
struggle.
me, man.
It's a serious struggle. But no,
That's so funny.
if you want to go ahead and you want to take it to the questions we have in Discord
Oh yeah.
and in
Sure.
the yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, we pulled up a few questions from our Discord. So here's one. Who's your favorite champ? This is for everybody. Who's your favorite champ in League, and explain why? Like mechanics, lore. I already know Mike's. I think Mike and I should answer for each other at this point.
Oh yeah. Okay. We'll answer for
Yeah.
each other. That's more fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a second, Jeycie, to think about that. Mike's
Okay.
answer is gonna be Lee Sin, so he can style and flex, and mechanically it's something
Hmm.
challenging to play.
Yeah. And
Actually,
then I
actually, do
think.
you know mine? I think you should.
Give me
I
a
said
second.
it, but it's not,
Uh,
and the reason
Is it
why
an
is
AD?
really dumb.
Is it an AD?
Can be considered an AD.
Urgot.
Nope.
Oh
Oh.
wow.
Oh.
Who?
Nope.
Quinn? Wait, Quinn?
No. No.
Wait, who then?
My favorite champion is Corki. And
Oh
it's
wait, I
nothing
know
mechanically. It's like
Cornwall
it's one of the
champion.
first
Corky.
Yeah, it's one of the
Yeah,
first
bro.
champions I
Oh,
played.
child.
Love his like
I
character
forgot.
animation, interaction, expressions, whatever you want to call it, things like that.
Jack
Oh
picks
my
that
gosh,
guy
when he
mid, and I go,
Bruh,
he loves that
what do you
champion.
mean, dude? I'm
Dude, that
actually nuts. None of
dude, that champion.
No one
When I
has
play
seen me
against
on
people
it.
who are good on, yeah, people who are good on
That's
that
so
champion, it
funny.
hurts.
He's
I love that. I
very
love that
damaging.
champ. He's really fun to play though.
He is
And I love
fun.
his
I
I
love
love his
the
corgi skin.
Yeah.
His biscuits.
Dude, all I'm saying is that Red Baron skin is towing the line. I don't give a fuck who says what, dude. That's
Bro,
the
but it's
only skin I have
legacy,
for Corky,
bro.
bro. That's the only skin, and
Legacy.
How funny.
that line is thin. Okay, JC, your turn. What is your
Okay,
favorite champion as well?
I think my go-to's Braum. The reason being, I think it's because I've put a lot of a lot, quote unquote, a
Sure.
lot, time into practicing him. And I just kind of I enjoy his CC. His ulti's fun. His
Yeah.
skin is fire. Like,
Boom.
um, yeah.
That's crazy.
Um,
His shield's pretty awesome too.
the shield's amazing.
Mm.
I'm finally learning how to throw it out directly and not to my side. It's funny because in the beginning, it's so funny. I would throw my shield out literally to my side, and I would try and walk in front of my AD as a means of trying to protect him, but it's like you can't
Yeah, you're
turn the
not doing
shield once he's
nothing.
Yeah.
out, you know?
Yup.
So I'm like just taking body shots.
His passive is pretty fun
Uh,
too. It's good for team comps. The fact that it scales
yeah,
with other
yeah.
people, like.
I love the relic shield and like just gaining some extra monies. But yeah, my
You
go-to's
know what
Braum.
it literally is like Sejuani passive, but range champions can hit it. If you think about it, because I
Yeah,
play a lot of Sejuani, and Sejuani has that 4 hit, and then you can ice
That's
them, but like only melee
true.
champions can stack the passive.
both those
That's
champs
Whereas
in the
like
that's
same
true.
comp are actually disgusting. Steve
for real
Steve
though,
That's
steamrolled
true.
us with
wait,
that comp.
that's the comp, yo. I
No,
didn't even think
Steve
about
pulled
that.
that on us and we lost. We literally lost a series
That's
because of
so
that.
funny. You're right. And I like the shape of his stacks, the little diamonds,
You know,
fancy.
it's kind of a different topic. I think Sedge is really ban worthy at this point for our stream, like our stream wars games, because if the jungler's not playing that guy's getting picked. Like that dude's just a Misho, bro.
I
At the end
don't
of the
know,
day, like
man.
it's a
Not
struggle
too
playing
many
against that
people
dude,
play
man.
her. I'm gonna
You
be
don't think so?
honest. No.
That's true.
I don't know
Um.
why.
Anyways,
Go ahead.
here's another question. What's your favorite pastime other than games or guilty pastime? Like, what do you? I guess. Well, you said your hobbies are outside of gaming are what you said, journaling and reading and
Reading.
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff. Anything else?
Journally reading, acting. I love just watching films too. I'm super into films. I mean,
Okay.
that stems from like my theater side, but
Yeah.
like I'll sit down and I'll watch like just black and white films. I love like Charlie Chaplin, my favorite. So like I love watching all of his films, like super into like Donnie Brasco, like Sweeney Todd, like the Pirates, obviously. Yeah, just I don't know,
That's
just
super
sitting down
cool.
and watching a classic film too. Like yeah.
Definitely an older soul. I like that. That's cool. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. What about you, Mike?
mm,
What's your
uh,
thing to do outside of gaming?
um, honestly, it's probably uh watch mixed martial arts. I for some
Oh.
reason I have a really unhealthy addiction to mixed martial arts. That's kind of maybe something people don't know about me. Like so unhealthy that I don't even really want to get started on it because I literally could talk about it for fucking ever. I love it.
That
Um,
like cage fighting, like UFC?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Oh,
so
that
deep that I mean, UFC, Bellator, LFA, PFL,
I
one.
don't know
I mean, I
anything
know
besides
like all the
UFC. You literally
organizations.
I don't
said
It's
even know what those
pretty.
I
all.
was
I
You
like,
said
know
like
what? I
10
don't
things. I
know.
yeah, like
recognized one.
yeah, like and I know like the majority of it's tough. So definitely indulging in mixed martial arts,
That's pretty
whether it
sick.
be reading
They're
about it,
honestly,
watching
Loki,
it.
they're kind of fun to watch.
They
Like,
Man,
are. It's
it
pretty
is.
yeah,
interesting
they're
how
intense,
primal
but they're
like
it.
Do you
I
Yeah, it's
become
so
watching
barbaric.
it.
It's crazy.
something like small here is like if you're like feeling a little bit like oh like maybe
Pent up a little
stressed or
bit.
like pent,
Yeah.
literally go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and throw one or two really hard punches.
What?
And I'm not just into
At
the
the
air.
mirror?
Oh, that's
No,
why
into
I.
the air. I'm so serious right now. And there's something about it that is like a primal release for humans. Because if you honestly think that you can even do the research, like, we come from hunter and gatherers.
Mm,
Our ancestors are
Okay.
freaks of nature. These dudes used to fucking kill monkeys with their bare hands, and like think about what our ancestors literally.
that's
And
true. They
if
lived like they that was all they knew. They
and
had to survive.
one thing that I found out about mixed martial arts is like, is you'll go to any of the gyms here in Minnesota, and you guys are in California, the gyms, there are so many gyms. There are
Mm,
so many different people of all shapes and sizes, colors, and from all backgrounds. And what you'll realize is that all of them have this same theme of that there's something like a primal release
Yeah.
about just throwing punches. It sounds weird, but it's like gorilla. It's Neanderthal. It's like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
thing. So I would 100% recommend it to anybody. To a quick little, and next thing you know, you're feeling good, man. Even right there, I felt a little bit better about myself. I'm telling you, it's
that's
a weird
so
thing.
funny. Just throw hands. Like
Throw hands at the air. I mean, I've done it. I'll be honest. I have.
I'm telling you.
No, I've done it.
What about
I
you?
didn't not in the mirror,
funny.
but I've done it before.
Outside the
Um.
bathroom because it's awkward to do it out, in my living
Nah,
room. My girlfriend
man.
would be like, what the fuck is wrong with
Okay,
you?
well, we trying to
Nah,
fight right
bro.
now. Like,
Literally.
See, that's the
what
So
are you
yeah.
prepping for?
literally,
That's the
like,
thing.
God, you have issues.
For me, it's
That's
like
so
if I
funny.
do that in the open, it's like expected of me. Or like
Feels bad.
flailing in the open, like it's whatever. So,
Feels bad. I
um,
feel that.
no, I mean part of that though stems from like I did I did martial arts as a kid for a long time, so
Hmm.
like it was kind of just it's
Oh,
normal
and
to
you
That's like a
just like
natural
understand.
background
to
for
just
you
I
start
then.
said
put
Yeah.
to start
I was
punching and
feeling weird.
well, because when you
Yeah.
said it, you said go and look at yourself in the mirror and then throw a couple punches. So
All of yeah.
we both said hit the mirror like at the same
I
time
know. I
as
was
you were
like,
explaining it.
break it, like.
I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, bro, let me see your hands real quick. You
Definitely
okay?
don't end up with glass in your
That's what
knuckles.
I'm
God,
saying.
Yeah.
noted.
So yeah, no, I'll just throw punches out in the kitchen when I'm cooking while I'm waiting for something. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean
it's
that's the
normal,
same
weird.
thing as like
expected.
a couple of my homies are basketball players and they like throw basketballs around in the air like as if the ball's in their
Oh
hands,
no,
Oh,
that
like
like
that
fake
taking
shit
shots,
airballing.
stopped
like
me
Yeah,
with my
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
that's a real thing. I
same
played
thing.
basketball for 13 years, and even I have 3 basketballs down here, and I'll sometimes sit there and just like pass it or
Yeah,
like look in the air
like
and shoot it.
reenact as if they're like on the court, like,
It's like a
and they're like
that's
in
a
the
weird
kitchen,
thing.
like,
It's like a mental thing. It does something. It's like a
yeah,
trigger. It's a
Yeah.
weird thing.
It's
that's so
okay,
funny.
so oh, that's funny then because in sport for me in high school, my main sport was track and field and I did hurdles. And there's like a drill that we
Whoa, that's
do.
cool.
And so in my head, sometimes around the house, and you have to like step over things like a table or like step over like a I don't
Do
know. I
you
have a
hurdle over
dog.
them?
I don't I don't do it at full speed, but I like half hurdle
Jack
it,
just
like
outside.
50% hurdling. No, yeah,
Wait,
no, or like
that's
outside,
so
like
funny.
like
I
you'll go
just
to like a
imagine
store and
someone
there's like a
watching you.
rail or like at Disneyland there's like the chains. I'll like
Yeah.
50% hurdle it because like in my
Oh my
head
gosh,
it just
that's
it's
so
the
it's
first thing I
habitual.
think
It's
of.
muscle
Yeah,
memory.
exactly.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. I could just see like Jack just literally hurdling everything, like hurdling the fire hydrant, like as
No,
he
that's
was
what I was
running
gonna
down the
say.
Wait,
sidewalk.
when we
Just
do
watching
Steve's next
Jack.
meetup, I'll do it and you can film it and
Dude,
just have
yeah.
proof and send it to everybody
Just
because I
slow
do this
mo.
stuff. I'm not even kidding. Like I'll just do
Jack.
drills. I don't know. I can't. It's
Torchy
whatever.
parkour.
That's so
No.
funny. I
No
mean, I do
parkour.
pirouettes around the kitchen.
Just saying, bro.
My sister dances all around the house,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, it's all
Nice.
we're all weird in
Yeah,
our
I
own
feel like
way. It's got to be the habit thing, like you said, the muscle memory. It's like
yeah. I feel like
it's
that comes with sports though. Like all of us were in sports. Like I did like competitive cheerleading, I was in bowling, golf, like tennis, volleyball. But yeah, it's just things you kind of just do because
it's
you gain that muscle
weird.
memory, like gymnastics, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I th-
so habitual. Like we don't think
yeah.
about it, we're just doing it.
Mm.
It has to be some sort of like like muscle release or like twitch that you have or like tick that you need to have like
Yeah.
either if you're like swinging tennis racket or
Oh, totally.
something like you just have to like get it out real quick, like you just need to
It's almost as if
pretend.
it's like a stim for us. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the same way people like click their pens or like shake
Yeah.
our like shake their knee. Like we're
Oh, I'm doing that right now.
making
My
shots in
leg
the
is
ball, like in
restless.
the living room or like
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
There's not much in terms of with football that you can do to secure that
You
relief.
tackle someone.
What
I
do you mean? You
mean,
just
I
like
mean,
you
I was
don't go
gonna
like
say, like,
this.
kidding.
You don't
because as a
snap the
21-year-old,
ball or pretend to
no,
go
who
like
just
this. You
sits
don't just go
there?
like this
Who
in the air.
just,
You
I
That's
will
ever
so
be
think about
honest.
funny.
that? Or you
Sometimes,
like randomly just
you,
go like this. You like check somebody, you know?
I've the only time that I've like done anything that could be remotely football is like when I'm doing that little like thing where it's like, "Where's the dab? Caught it." You know what I
Oh,
mean?
like
Oh
Like I
my
touchdown like
taught my nephew
celebrations.
that. Yeah,
god.
like that's like the yeah maybe yeah
Those are
that's literally
grand.
it.
Some of those are so funny.
I'm so happy, honestly. You go on YouTube and just search touchdown celebration. I'm so happy the NFL stopped fining people for that. They used to charge people money. That's a great 30-second. Come
Yeah.
on, man. It's incredible.
True.
I don't
Oh
even
my
want to
god.
watch the
You know what I
game. I
like
want to
watching?
watch
I
them
like
row a boat.
what is it called? Like it's not like ad-libbing, but like those false like how they do those voiceovers of people
Oh,
from like
the
those
bad lip
NFL
reading?
yeah, those are
Yeah,
so
those are
funny.
funny.
No.
Those
Those
are
are
pretty
so fun to
funny.
watch.
What's all right? What's the next one?
Another question. This is okay. These are kind of more like quick answer questions.
Okay.
Surf or turf, aka food related, seafood or meat.
Turf.
I'm
I don't know
turf.
how I don't know how people eat seafood.
Well, you're like
Oh.
kind of land. No, you're
Is
not
meat
landlocked,
turf?
are
Is that
you?
yeah, meat, yeah. Steak.
Yeah,
Mm.
steak or
For real.
seafood, kind of like beef or
Ugh.
seafood. I don't. I like
That
both,
is
but if I have to
nice.
pick, I'm going with turf.
Yeah, I think
Um,
I like both, but I like in terms of variety and what I like more, there's a bigger selection in
yeah,
terms of
and
turf for me
yeah.
than there is seafood. So, yeah,
Okay.
turf.
Next one, most money ever spent on one thing. Don't say the amount, but what was the thing you
Hmm,
bought?
my car.
Yeah, it'd have to be my car too. If not, it would probably be like uh my besides my car,
Like
uh
most expensive thing in one expense, like bam.
Or
You know what
like,
I
yeah,
mean?
like do you like all
Because
in
obviously,
once
like
or because
my
I'm like I'm
house, you know what I
financed,
mean?
yeah,
so like
yeah, I think it'd
technically
have
that's
to
like
be
a year.
like yeah.
Right here, right
Yeah,
now.
like
Oh
a one
shoot.
time, like one swipe. You
Okay,
swiped it and it was all
you
gone. All
guys
the
can
money
go
was.
first.
I'm trying
Oh
to
shoot.
think, dude.
I'm like looking around my house to see if there's like
What was the most expensive thing I've? It would have to probably be.
Mm,
Oh God, an
I don't know.
iMac,
That's hard. A what?
an iMac, like an Apple Mac computer, like the big computer
Oh,
thing.
okay. Like you didn't do like a monthly for that or anything? Because
I
that's
didn't
kind of
even
like a
know they had
one-time purchase.
one until
Oh,
recently.
cool.
What
I
about you,
found
Jeycie?
out.
Mm, oh, that's kind of hard. Does my PC count?
Yeah.
No, that's kind
Did
of
you
like
buy it in
that's
one
monthly
go?
though.
Because I
No.
purchased mine and bought the parts, and then yeah, and the parts came separate. So
No, because
like
all
I
my
don't have like
big
an yeah.
purchases I have monthly for.
See, I need to do that
And then
honestly.
I
like
feel that.
I don't
Just
really go out of my way and just like I'm not a big like, oh, I need the most upcoming fashion thing or whatever. Like I don't really care about that kind of stuff. So I think like
Yeah,
all my purchases are within reason and within budget.
yeah,
So,
okay.
I can
I
relate.
don't know. That one's kind of hard for
Mine.
me.
I knew my answer right away, and my answer, I'm just gonna say with, I'm gonna try to say with some pride because I definitely know that there's an issue in it.
Tell me
The
you.
most money
Yeah, go
that
for it.
it was on a product that you consume, a plant.
Oh.
It was like a
Okay.
portion.
You bought a
Uh,
lot? That much?
it's a little too much, brother. Listen,
That's so
Whoa, that must be a
I
funny.
went.
lot, but I don't
That
know.
must have
I
been a
don't know.
party.
No, for so seriously, like just the half-second story. I closed a contract managing social medias and celebratory. We're balling out.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
HBO's Ballers. I
that's
respect
so
it.
yeah.
funny.
No, yeah. I always just pull the I've had 4 concussions excuse. So that's why I
Hey,
bought that
it
much.
worked.
Right? No, yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
whatever.
pretty funny.
All
It
right.
sucks that you can't just like that's not something that you can show. Hey,
Yeah.
I bought this for this amount.
Yeah, like whoop, here's my
No, I think it's
Get
luggage.
cool.
Like
out.
No. Next one is if you had a Twitch emote for every day that would hold
See,
on.
I
If you
don't.
had
There's some English issues with this one. I'm trying to figure it out
all
myself.
would be okay, we're gonna go ahead and skip that because
like an
that's
like an emote that would like relate to
Represent
us or
my life, or
represent
like,
us
what if
like
you
our
had?
everyday
Yeah,
life.
I think
maybe cool
mine.
story Bob Ross. That just is me. I love that
Oh, it
emote
has to be an
so
emote that
much.
exists?
Oh well, I just thought maybe that. Oh well, it says if you
I'm
had
trying
a
to.
Twitch emote. Oh well.
Oh,
For every day that would be you, art and all, what would it be? Yeah.
It
So
would
what
be
would be
me
one?
in the cool story Bob Ross pose because I
Mine's
feel like that meme is hella funny.
okay.
dude, I don't know all the emotes by heart.
Mine has to be Pog U. I always go in my real life, but never on stream.
Oh. Is there an emote where you're constantly eye
Eye rolling? There
There,
has
it
to
is
be.
now. We need
I
a
honestly don't
JC
know.
eye rolling
Out of
emote.
curiosity, out of curiosity, if you guys could come up with an emote that correlates to me most, what would it be? Because I don't know all the emotes by heart, so I can't really like go off of
Hmm.
like I can't really think of one off the top of my head. But I'm
Yeah, I'm now
curious.
scrolling through my emotes. Uh,
It
or
would
the
probably
emotes.
be. Oh shit, dude, this isn't good. This is too on the spot. Because these emotes could
Uh,
mean something. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I honestly, guys, you know me.
um,
I don't care. Like
is there like a
I'm
super
not offended.
positive one, like at all? Because
is there like
Oh,
a
really?
cute
You go with a
dog
really
or
cheesy
something?
one? Oh
Like,
man.
or Like just because like like an innocent like maybe I don't know to be honest with you. I feel like we
That's
just need a
so
Jeycie emo
funny.
of you eye rolling
Maybe
Right? I'd
just
love
like
that. I
maybe
would
just
thrive off of
lol.
that. Like, just
or lol. Yeah,
Lol,
that
because she's always laughing, it seems.
that's
yeah.
that's
Lol,
good.
and
Yeah,
always just
that's true. La la la
Or
la la la.
Jeycie laughing emo. It's just a lot. Are any of these emotes good?
I don't
All
know.
right.
All right.
If you could
True.
if
Yeah,
you could
next
That's
swap
a
question.
good one.
if you could swap with somebody famous for a day, who would it be?
Is this supposed
Mine
to
would
be
be
the
Elon
question
Musk.
of like is this the same question? Maybe not. I'm thinking of the question where it's always like you could have dinner or like spend a day with somebody alive or dead, who would it be? Is that what this is supposed to get at?
Oh.
No,
Or is it
I
literally
think this
just
is like
be in the
literally like I'm just
Like, do
this
you want to
person
live this
for a day.
like
like I'm now Kanye
celebrity?
West or something like
Yeah,
that.
literally
Tomorrow
I'm
I'm
now
Kanye.
Oh.
Oh.
I would
Oh.
want to be Elon Musk. I run a
Oh, that's
space
dope.
program.
That's
Like
such
I
a
would just
good
tweet
one.
that. Fuck you guys. I run a space program. Like
Dude,
I'd want to just send that
his
tweet.
Twitter is on fire, bro. I love it.
Always.
Who
Somebody
would I
famous for a day?
be?
Just to think that that guy too. You watch that guy in any interview and
Hey, that guy's
podcast.
nuts. He's
Like
like
that guy's
actually in a
talking.
good
You
way.
hear those people talk. You hear people like that talk, and you just think that guy's brain just ticks at a different
Mm,
like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
speed or something. Like something's in there. Or it could be artist or like a maybe like an actor or like an author, JC,
yeah, I was kind
or
of thinking more because I really
um
because I like really like I went from like Beyonce to like Haley Johnny. If I were to choose one, maybe maybe Johnny Depp. Just because I
yeah.
think I like his variety of films and like to know him like as a person, I've watched like interviews of him. He is like so like humble and monotone. Like he's
Yeah.
so like very simple minded in a sense where like I mean he's very intellectual but he's very just like poised, you know? But then you see him in like Pirates of the Caribbean or like you see him in
He's
Edward
yeah.
Scissorhands and I'm like, "Holy cow, this dude plays like so many different characters and you
Or
see
in
so much
the like
dynamic to him and I don't
Fantastic
know.
Beasts. I was surprised to see him in that. Have you
Yeah,
seen that
like
movie?
Donnie Brasco, which is
Yeah,
like
I was like,
another mob
whoa.
Sweeney Todd where
Hmm.
he bakes people in a pie. Like
Right.
Yeah. I would
I was like
I could
I was like that's
actually
pretty cool.
I also would actually say maybe Keanu Reeves as well, because that guy is just
Oh,
like
Bro, he's
that
like
guy is
super
just
nice apparently.
for real.
Like
And
he's apparently
really?
one of the nicest people ever.
yeah,
Oh.
like that dude seems like an incredible guy, and he's just a super mysterious guy. So
Super mysterious.
Yeah,
yeah,
and see, I think that's kind of what like intrigues me. See these actors and they portray all these, characters, whether they're fictional or not. But I'm like, who are you really?
Yeah.
hmm
Like you
literally.
see these faces of like Captain Jack Sparrow or whatever, but I'm like, who is Johnny Depp?
Right.
Yeah,
You know? And so I don't know.
no,
I
I
don't
feel
know.
that. That
I
is an
guess
interesting.
yeah.
No, that is an interesting perspective. How about you, Jack?
I don't know.
Can't say
That's
double it, bro. You're already almost there.
if I say
Feels.
double if lol, dude. No, see, I'm trying to think of something like outside of for me it's like most cases the generic answer is like somebody that I watch often like on YouTube or like on Twitch just to see what
Sure.
just because of what I'm doing like I want to see what the other side like the other extreme side is.
To be Nate shot or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, but I don't know. Honestly, like just thinking about it, I said it earlier, but like I'd actually want to know what goes inside the mind of Kanye West. Like I have
Oh,
no idea why he does the things he does, and I just want to maybe. But
true.
if you swap, do you get like, are you? Am I just like the weird back of, like inside his mind, and I just like get to understand his conscious, or do I become Kanye and then my thoughts
No,
are
you
You
now?
become
become
him.
one with the
No,
Kanye.
so you feel his outbursts. You
Yeah,
feel
that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I'm in the back of
his.
his conscience, and I'm just like sitting there, like third body experience or third out of body experience, whatever it's called. Just like
Yeah.
okay,
Like if you could
I
be
want to know.
him,
Then
like
yeah,
every aspect of him, it'd be him.
I want to know. I just he's just so
Oh,
weird
that's a
and out
he's
there.
interesting. Like you see the change in his music after mom passed away, you
Yeah,
know? Like like old Kanye, yo, that was fire. I don't really listen to some of his newer stuff, but
There's something
that's
to be
interesting.
said. There's something that I don't think a lot of people talk about with Kanye is the fact that he paid for that surgery for his mother. And I think that that right there is something, the surgery
That's character.
Yep.
no. He paid for the surgery that his mother died in. Like his mother was going in. I
Oh,
don't know if you guys know about
wait,
like
what?
yeah.
I
Wait.
don't really
So
know that story.
no, Kanye West's mom. You guys should. Kanye West's mom. The whole story of Kanye West's mom is pretty tragic. Pretty
Plot
sad
twist.
thing.
Yeah, that's
Just so I'm
nuts.
not actually wrong on it.
Yeah, I'm also looking it up as well.
I'm like, wait, yeah, you gotta share that because I'm curious.
Um, I'm pretty sure I know, but I don't want to start saying. And then
No.
um, yeah, okay, I am right. So his mother was actually like the story is that she really wanted plastic surgery. I forget what the
Mm-hmm.
plastic surgery is for.
Mm-hmm.
And he paid for his mother to have the plastic surgery, and then after it had kind of been like on top of the fact that she was already having heart problems, and so she couldn't basically her body couldn't heal itself because she was already having heart valve issues, I guess, and her
Oh.
heart gave out from it.
Oh
And like it's a
no.
situation where like people don't think about that because
But now it's like
imagine
a
being him is
guilt
like
thing.
it's a guilt
Could
thing
you
then
Yeah.
imagine?
because
Yeah, it's a guilt thing
you
for
put your
sure.
mom on the table to have the
Yeah,
surgery. Like if you
that's
don't make it as a
crazy.
I mean, I can already think of the things I would think like if I don't make it as a superstar, my mom is never, if I don't I can already
Sure.
think, so obviously that does not excuse you can't have we're all grown men and grown
Mm.
women and but still I think that that's a really big thing that people don't realize about Kanye, like that could really fuck you as a
Wow.
person. But no,
Oh,
yeah.
totally.
Mm,
Dude, I can't
um
even imagine.
so
Um,
to
that's
switch the topic
crazy.
fast, if you're at a barbecue, burgers or hot dogs?
Burgers.
Burgers.
Burgers. I don't know how people eat those little sticks of death. Literally
Meat.
Burgers for
horrible.
sure.
Burgers. Yeah.
And then
Um yeah, we have
mm,
two more questions, I think. One here is, has Jeycie read any of Wayne Grudem's books?
No, I don't think so. No.
I'll search them.
Um, yeah, I'm kind of curious. Wait, what is it? Wayne.
Grudem.
How do you spell it?
Grudem.
Wayne Grudem. Let me see. I'm
Um
really curious. Wayne. Is it Wayyane?
yeah,
Okay,
the
Grudem.
theologian.
Oh, systematic theology? Oh, wait, I literally have his book on my shelf.
Oh.
The whole
Okay.
systematic. Oh, I didn't know that was the author.
Well, there you go. That's the answer to the question.
I literally have systematic theology on my shelf. Yeah, the big blue book.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
How
then
see it
funny.
on the wiki here. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Mike.
the last one is also how big is your viewer base on average? I don't know if that means like per stream, how big would you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
however you interpret that question.
Uh, I think I guess we'll just go with streaming because that's really all I can correlate to, I suppose. With viewer, like on average, like let's say like how many average viewers do I get per stream? Is that what
Sure.
they're kind of
I
asking? I
think.
don't know.
I think.
I think it really depends on the day, and then like maybe like 15, 20-ish.
Good.
I don't
Good number
I
though.
think yeah, I think yeah, it depends, but it's like there's days where I haven't streamed in a couple days and then I kind of just fall off, but I don't know. Then it
It's
depends on the day of the
whatever.
week. I feel like I get more viewers earlier in the week for some reason than like weekends. But yeah, I don't know. What about you guys?
Hmm. What's funny is when I would stream, like when I was streaming consistently, I had a lot of people from Denmark that followed me and that would sit in my stream like
Oh,
so
what?
serious. Like there's like four different dudes and a girl from Denmark.
That's
That
so
and I
funny.
was like, what's up with these people in Denmark, bruh? These guys are just up on Twitch. Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. So, whenever Denmark people are awake, that's the time when Michael is just popping.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I
Shout out
don't
to
know.
Denmark.
For real. What about you, Jack?
um I don't actually know this number. I'm trying to pull up the analytics so I can just have a baseline number. But I'm
Jack's
gonna go with
big time now.
no, dude. I'm just gonna go ahead and say like 10 to 20.
35.
10 to 20 also.
Dang.
Okay, so that was the last of your questions, and then I just wanted to close this out with this last bit here. Um what is one piece of life advice that someone's given to you that's impacted you and maybe would be worth passing forward?
Learn from your mistakes, because we're gonna make a bunch of them. But what's the purpose of like, facing? I mean, why put yourself in a position where you're gonna face the same mistake over and over and over again? I mean, it's gonna be inevitable, sure, but just learn from them, grow from them, gain new experiences. Just it leads to maturity. It leads to just overall growth and well-being. So yeah, I guess that's one thing.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Very,
Well,
very cool.
thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, I would love for you can come on whenever. If
Yeah,
you
this
ever
would
have
actually
anything,
Oh,
be
if you have anything that you would, anything going on big that you want to, whatever, we
you guys
always
have
would
been
love to have
so
you
great.
on. It's
Oh,
open door.
thank you.
Seriously.
That really means a lot to me.
We really, it means a lot to us that, because I personally look at it as you know, cutting time into your day, into your life to fit us in. I know it
yeah.
seems like
Yeah, I wanted to say the same thing
you
too.
say thank you to us as for choosing you, but uh, feel like it's thank you to you for like fitting us in, just because life is busy and time is very valuable.
Yeah.
So I just really want to reiterate that and reiterate that you can come on whenever if you want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
always
no,
come on.
thank you.
Yeah, to
Thank you,
just
thank you.
yeah, to piggyback off of what Mike's saying, basically, I'm just looking at the timer right now, and it's been 2.5 hours, which is the longest episode that we've had, and I just feel like
Oh,
have still so much
sorry.
more to talk about. No, 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 and that's what I'm saying though.
No,
It's like
there is.
it's 2.5 hours, and I feel like there's so much more. So like, yeah, you're definitely
Yeah.
welcome on the show anytime because I feel like there's just so much that we could continue discussing. I did feel bad,
Oh,
kind of rushing some of
absolutely.
the questions. I didn't mean to like rush
No,
it, but
no.
so
I want you. I I'm just humbled by this experience, and I've been so excited to be able to talk to you guys. I was like looking forward to this time, so thank you so much. It's been so meaningful. I'd love to be able to hang out with you guys more.
100%.
I totally see us doing this again in the future, whether it be like later down the line talking about new things, but yeah. Thank you so
for
much. I
sure.
really enjoyed chatting with you guys.
Cool. And to close it out, I mean, where can people find you? I got your socials up, but I mean, what's your schedule looking like right now? When can people
I
catch
know
you
I
online?
do have, yeah, like I do have a of streaming Monday through Thursday. As of lately, because school started, it has been a little bit rough for me to, maintain that. I'm not gonna lie. Especially with the transition into work. But hopefully when I get into this new position, I'll have more regular hours. I'll be doing like 9 to 2:45. So I'll have so much more time to stream and do homework. So yeah. Just following on Twitch. My username is Jeycie, so Jeycie. Yeah, Instagram I believe is posted, right? The at Miss Jeycie. But yeah, join the Discord, hit up chat or whatever, and whenever I'm streaming and join or message me or whatever, and I'll link you guys. So yeah, that's typically where you'll find me.
Right on. Okay, this is absolutely the last question now that I just thought about it.
No, you're fine.
What's the name? Where's the name come from? Because your real name, right,
Oh yeah, I just
is
assumed it was Jaycee.
not
Oh.
I gotta stop doing
right.
that.
Yeah, it's not JC. My real name is Sarah.
Yep, I knew that.
However, JC stemmed from the two letter or well, the first letters of my two middle names. So JC.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, let's play around with spelling a little bit. And I didn't want it to just be J and then C. So
Yeah,
spelled it out the way I did.
cool.
Wow.
It was used or I mean it was open. I was like, I'll take it. And so yeah.
Bro, I gotta stop doing that, or else I'm gonna think Lofts Jeezy is literally his name. What's up,
Oh.
Loft Jeezy? Or what's up, Daddy Steve? I gotta actually.
But
That's what
Steve's
I'm
name is
gonna go.
actually
Yeah, but
Steve.
Steve's
Yeah,
name is
right.
actually Steve, and you're actually
Yeah,
Loft
Mike.
yeah.
So
Jeezy? Like this guy's
Yeah.
name is not Loft Jeezy.
that's
I mean,
funny.
But
but I love when people call me JC. I love
Yeah,
it. Because it's like I like the fact that my name still, like my username still is part of me, you know, like
Yeah.
it's literally my initials from my name, but I don't know. I kind of just like it's like a nickname, you know?
Yeah,
I feel
for
that.
sure. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Cool.
All
Well,
right.
thanks again for coming on. It's been a blast. I'm looking forward
Thank you
to
guys so
chatting
much. It's been a
again
blessing
soon.
hanging out with you guys. I've had so much fun.
Thank you.
That's awesome to hear. Cool. All right. Well, that does it for this episode. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. As always, the video will be on YouTube later, so be sure to check that out. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
And I think after this, I'm gonna play a few games. We'll see. For now, thanks for watching,
I think
guys.
I
We'll
will
see
too.
you in a few.
Bye.
Peace.